I probably wouldn't, but you know, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. I wish I was there, truly, but you know, heavy is the head that wears the crown of an optical shop.
Yeah, you're kind of the most badass one of us all. If Harry wasn't on the call,
I need to buy stronger.
I cannot hold a candle to what Harry does.
Harry created candles. He created light. Created like
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys are killing me. I'm like trying to get this thing going.
What it is.
like
Hearing a whole bunch of bullshit.
you know what's wrong with Harry for an hour? You'll be none the smarter for it, but you'll know he's fucking brilliant.
Was.
Oh, that's right. You were on the cow eye, Paul.
You forced me on the phone with him the first time I met him.
That's right. Sorry.
You three-way with Harry.
Well,
Oh, easy
yeah.
now.
Oh,
I'm a
wow.
dinner and date kind of gal first.
Hey, Lewis, you wanted strip clubs. You could have had way more.
Oh God, Mike, just wait for the wait. Deserve it and just wait.
We'll have fun, but I do wish you were here, brother. And your presence is very
Oh.
sorely missed.
Oh, hush! I'm just a guy.
You what? You're just a guy.
I'm just a guy.
That's why you got.
But I do wish I was there. I all the hassling I could give you.
You and Harry both. Honestly, it doesn't feel right doing this without y'all. That's why I had to get you on the TV and everything.
On the TV.
Harry, you're on camera, right?
Well,
Harry's
thank you.
killing
I appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all are on our whatever big screen TV so that we can all see you. So that way, if anybody takes pictures, y'all will be involved. It's as close to y'all being here as we can get. There we go.
So my face is blown up on a massive screen. That's creepy.
Why is it showing R? Now you get to look at my face. I'll lower the camera for you in a minute.
God.
Well, you know what? You were the one that mentioned a big black something earlier, so.
Why I was so excited for you to get your mail.
Yeah, you're right. I was talking about a big black dick earlier. Now ask my 2 minutes to make that. Yeah, that's been my nickname, Black Mike. For that reason alone.
Is that why, huh?
You hear the dad walk into the room. That's what it is. So I'm trying to. Oh, here we go. All right. So I'm turning off my camera. Unchecking, show my own camera. Doesn't injure video. Okay. So y'all can still see me, right? It still has you.
Yeah, I can see you. I have terrible lighting in my office, so I'm dark. Well, dark.
Yeah. So they can. There we go. All right. Well, whatever happened worked well enough. And Harry, are we gonna have you on video?
Why aren't we on video? I have to show Harry. Harry deserves to know that I came.
It's just 5 to 6 months plus Jane. It's all family here, man. And then we have Jane. She's on the way. She was just downstairs getting an Uber. And then that's it. Tommy never confirmed that he was coming or not. So, yeah. I mean, you know, I offered it to him. Yeah. Gave him the invite. You know what? Let me text him again just to do my full 100%. We're still waiting on Chelsea.
Sorry, I'm not going to be able to. Not going to be able to be on screen.
It's too much sexy for one screen. I get it. I understand.
Harry, I don't appreciate it at all.
There she
I didn't
is.
see her face.
I will show you why. Here, Mike, I'm going to send you over to a link. Double check this. Make sure it's coming through on your end.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds.
All right.
Is that Chelsea?
Chelsea should be on her way, is what she said, but I don't see her on camera.
Who's the one that joined the Discord? Is that Chelsea?
Yeah, we are.
I had it turned on and you turned it off.
They can still see us. Yeah.
But he's
So the reason is because I can't get. I wanted our picture gone and everybody else's picture there. Y'all can still see us, right?
yeah, but
Mhm.
that's his own.
They should.
No, but the camera's still
There
on.
you go.
It was still on, just for the record.
No, it was.
Thank you. And I'm seeing it right here.
Hot?
Yes.
There's like somebody else joins the first, see them at the bottom. Would anybody like to do a shot?
Y'all got your shots ready? Harry, I'm coming close so that you can get full view of my honorable wearer.
That's what's up.
Fuck around and find
Oh
out.
my god.
So are we live streaming already?
My answer is no, but
I know.
yeah, which I know some of this like my face.
What? Oh, sorry. That's what he goes, Heather. What am I going to do? I know, right?
I was staring at you for that
And
one.
I think it was like the one that doesn't talk so
But you said it as I walked right in front of you.
Which one is that?
I did say the one that
You
doesn't
said
talk so
not.
much. I did, but she does too. So
So you're full of shit. That was the
I'm significantly quieter than
Some
single
thing
day.
on the door. That sounds delicious.
is that Chelsea? You have a glass of wine? Are you gonna toast with us?
Hello, Chelsea. I haven't met you.
Oh no, this is my wife, my sweet pea from life, Stephanie.
Hello.
She's the one that
Hello.
from
Why
Oblivion.
am I so slow?
What?
I feel like I'm slow. I feel like I'm lagging.
It is lagging. It's our internet. It's because they put our router like
Louis, I'm really sad you're not here.
in the closet. You know we can't
You're really
like
sad.
I know.
Don't be
Do you-
sad.
Did you do
Who's
it?
in there with you?
I just didn't want to smell it. So
Heather Branderhorst, Heather Fowler, and Brian, and Stephanie, and Mike.
So I don't know how many you've met, but Heather Branderhorst is fucking amazing. She's one of the speakers that we have on the site as well. Heather Fowler here actually is the one that got me into optical and was my mentor for years. I still have better certifications now. But
Damn.
hey, she keeps me humble. I gotta work on
Really?
this.
You're saying whenever you look up your license, it still says I'm your supervisor.
Does it really?
It will always.
Are you kidding me?
You always
That
look
thing
up
that's
for me.
You know what he was going to be humble. He's
You
working.
knew that when that happened. You've been waiting for that. You've been holding that in your pocket.
Oh, it just came out.
Alright, thinking on the fly.
So we're still waiting on Jane for the toast. Sorry to have y'all guys here, but we wanted to at least have you part of the party. And y'all are staring at us like we're zoo animals instead of like saying, "Hey, my name's Lewis. Let's have a chat about optical lenses."
Oh, I tried to talk to you 3 times. I'm really sad you're not here, is what I was going to say.
I mean, we could talk about the struggle bus of balancing competing interests. We could do that. That'd be good.
We didn't mean to.
What are we talking about?
Tell us about that struggle bus, boo. Struggle
Oh
bus.
God, it's awful. It's awful. It's all right. I mean, you know, it's only my family that misses out on me. The other day, my son, like, who is that man who walked in? And I was like, I don't know who I am anymore.
That's awful.
Some good help, brother. Like,
Oh, it's what
how's Linda? Is she back?
she's back. She came back Wednesday. So if she was 100%, hey CJ,
Hey,
Oh,
Hey,
it's
CJ.
awesome.
I know I haven't seen you guys for a long time, and I happened to go on the Optical Made Easy website today and saw you were doing a live stream. I said, "Wow, that's fun."
Harry's been posting.
Hey, CJ.
So I'm glad he's doing it.
Right?
Yeah, we're just doing a little toast. Are you able to get on camera to do a toast with us, or you just want to stay voice only?
That's awesome. Lewis, I want to work with you.
Oh,
I'm
by the
trying
way,
to figure out
this is off.
What was that?
videos.
This
next
is
week.
what y'all think it is. Harry, thank you so much for the recommendation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is the principles
Oh,
of
me?
ophthalmic lenses. This book, I asked Harry, I'm like,
That
all
book's
right,
great.
I want to learn like the European system learns because I want to learn to be a true optician / optometrist. That's whatever. And so he said, get this book. And I just got it yesterday, but just thumbing through this book, it is amazing. Like the depth of I got it for $50 on Amazon, but the next cheapest one is $100 now.
Damn it! You got it that cheap? I paid full freight from the university.
Yeah, but you're getting a brand new one. Mine has like underlines and notes on it, which kind of irritates me. But
Yeah.
it was $50 for a UK
I
school.
don't know.
So I don't know if
Money.
you can see, but we're up live on the OME front page.
Oh, you're supposed to be on the front page?
Freaking great.
Yeah, and I apologize. I can't turn my camera on. Otherwise, I'm going to end up killing the stream.
No, you're good. Awesome. We understand those good looks can only be held by so many people.
That's right. It breaks cameras.
I do wish you were here, though, man. Oh, hold on. Jane is here, so. Hold on. Buzz in on the box and let them know that you're here to come up to room 15113. Sorry, apartment number. Give them my name,
Crazy
Michael Rock.
number.
I can see myself on the live stream. It's hilarious. Me just eating popcorn on camera. Okay.
So what do y'all think of this? So I love this on the homepage, but I want to start doing this every year. We'll pick a major event and we'll do an OME gathering, be it in person, even if we all have to squeeze into like a hotel lobby. But like I want to start building this and having, people that we have all over. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself with the toast, but I really want to blow this up. Like what we've been able to do just by a random harebrained idea that I had while chatting with Brian at work one day has become our third class for the ABO advanced sessions. And to me, that just fucking blows my mind that that's happened. And we've had so many people pass, and it's been phenomenal. And everybody that we've met along the way, Lewis included, and I love what we're doing, and I want to help grow it, but I also want to recognize the standout stars that we've had. And CJ, you are one of those, so that's why I'm glad you're here tonight. Because if you're, I'd love to stick you as a speaker on our website. You would still, everything would go to you. It would be all under you. We would just be an access point for people to say, oh, so CJ offers these classes, and then they reach out to you directly. So we're not trying to like steal money or anything or take money. We just want to help the industry. So if you're up for it, if you want to be a speaker on the webpage, you're welcome to be.
Yeah, I'd love to. I think that would be fun.
Okay, so it's 8:05. Mike, if you want to take the lead and maybe give us a toast.
Jane's on the way upstairs right now, so I'm waiting on her.
Okay, so we're waiting on her.
So let's go ahead and plot the hold on.
It's weird and frustrating, but
Yeah.
Yes, it's 9:15 Midtown. It's at the very corner. Yes, it's 9:15 Midtown. It's at the corner.
My gut force for it. You know what I mean?
Let's go ahead and at least grab the champagne.
First is every.
Okay. Do you need to go down? Do you want me to go down and grab
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Oh, is Jane here? Yeah. And I want her up here for the
Champagne
toast.
out?
Yeah, let's get the champagne out. I'm telling her you're on the way down. Keep your phone on you and answer it if I call just in case you set it up.
There's alcohol free champagne if anybody wants.
Is that Heather and Brian with him too? Back
That
there?
is my mentor who got me in the game, Albert over here.
Someone ought to get that.
That's awesome.
Good to see you, CJ. Good to see you, Chelsea. Hello, Lewis.
Hello. Yeah, it's been a bit now. How's the new class going, Chelsea?
Brian.
I like it. They've already challenged us a lot, and they're providing us with new information. We actually were using your presentation for an example because our first 2 sessions were like rough.
Well,
I really
if it
don't
helps, that's great.
like it was just like I think they didn't understand like the level of like presentations we needed and we want at this level. So I mean they met the prompt, you know, they did the PowerPoints, they gave us questions, but we showed them yours and my presentation and Hayes' presentation to show
Nice.
them exactly what we wanted. And then it was like after that we had like the third presentation was like nice and juicy. The fourth one beautiful, and she's gonna finish. It was so extensive. She used up the whole hour. Well, we gave her 45 minutes because we were talking. But she's gonna like finish the rest, and then I'm making a Jeopardy game. I'm actually I'm gonna probably start on that tonight or Sunday, depending on how it goes. And I remember doing it back in the day. I just don't remember how. And then I'm using Google Slides and not Microsoft. So I was just like, what? Once I figure out the difference, I think it's totally doable.
Well, I'm glad it's in the swing of things. That's exciting. Good for you.
Yeah. I'm ready to pass the test.
Yeah.
I'm ready to
You
get
have
it
it scheduled
done.
to take again already?
Yeah.
Okay.
March 14th. I've been really diligent. You know, it's in my desk right now, but it's covered with papers. Like, I have
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. Oh, and Wes is here.
Good evening, Wesley.
I'm
Here.
And he's not.
Right?
Scared him.
I'm actually thinking about giving you my presentation. It's kind of funny to see everybody there. I'm used to seeing people from like the neck up.
Sorry, still trying to get everything over here in the background. I would do a dance or a jig, but I don't know one. Oh, don't worry. Have a dance or a jig? We're here. You know what? How about this? We're still waiting on Jane. Chelsea, I would love to hear your story. Why are you here? And why are you a part of this group and doing what you're doing? Okay. Accusatory, but it's more like let's try to say, hey Chelsea, do you mind telling us your story and what brought you here to us and what made you this amazing person that's going to help take over these advanced classes?
Oh boy. Would I ever?
Yeah. Oh, we're definitely going to hear about CJ. So Chelsea, you're up.
No, I got it. So, I fell into optical kind of accidentally, and my car broke, and I kind of went into this optical shop, and I thought it was Oliver. I just need a nose pad replaced, but I didn't know that back then. So, the lady was like super nice, and I was on my way to a job interview. So I was like, "This is a job," and she's like, "Yeah, it's a job," and I'm like, "Cool, I'll be back." So I went back, and I've been in the industry for like 10 years now. I hit the ground running in my first optical job. And I always like to tell people my first job, I was working in $1 million store, and I sold $385,000 that first year. Did I know what I was doing? Maybe. But I like killed it my first year. So when I decided to pursue my licensure, I was adamant that no one was going to stop me from getting my licensure because apprenticeship is very big in my state. But you have to get along with your mentor, and I just saw in my experience there are a lot more closed doors than open ones. And even when I went to private practices and told them what I was trying to achieve, nobody was willing to give. No one had a ready example of what it was like to pursue licensure and get my exams done and all that stuff. All they could tell me was to go to school. But even with school, they require you to have a sponsor. And there weren't a lot of sponsors. There weren't a lot of people willing to sponsor, wanting to sponsor. So I I passed the exams because of my program, but I know there's a lot of things that I really wish I had somebody there to kind of mentor me through. So when I finally was time to sit for my boards, I passed my ABO and CLE the first time, get to my boards, and I fail. I was like cursing at the air because I was like, what the heck? I do this every day. Why can't I, why can't I pass this? So at that time, I switched employers. I had been through 5 different employers because they couldn't meet some type of criteria for my degree program at the time. And when I met the opticians at this time, Walmart, they've been doing this for 30 years, but they had a way with words that was like just great. And they broke down what I always say, like what took me 2 years to learn in school, they broke down in 2 minutes. And I was like floored, like, what the heck? Like we had to do all these hours and everything. So I pass. And when I get through my boards, my professors were actually told me, there'll be a job here at the school if you really want it. And that was because we were in COVID, and even over like Zoom calls and stuff, everybody was really like, they were asking for help, and I was able to give it over the phone and like stay after class and like was helping and tutoring, and I enjoyed it a lot. And my teachers were like asking me questions in class, and I could just explain it. So I was just gifted in that way, and I loved it. I really did. So life happened. I kind of put that down, and then I circled back around when I went to my first CE event, and I saw Fernell Walker speak, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. This guy is excited talking about lenses. He did cool things with math. He's like jumping all over the stage. And I was so engaged with his first class. I was answering questions, and he was like, who said that? And I was like, he's like, you're right. And I'm like, I'm right. Like, that was such a good feeling. So I was like, I could do that. I could teach people. I could keep them engaged. I already like doing it. So I told him, I was like, I want to do this. And he was like, great, you do that. And then circle around the next biennium. And I'm like, hey, I'm still here. I still want to do this. So he was like, I remember you. And he hooked me up with my mentor, and my mentor, Sarah, introduced me to Mike. So that's how I ended up here. Was Sarah's just like, you have to get to the next level. You want to be a teacher. You got to teach, you got to kind of train the trainer. So get into this ABO group. So I was pumped. I was super pumped when I got into this class. I was thinking I had to be a Pharrell or a Sarah. My first class, I was like, these people are going to be amazing. The only video that I watched was the one when Harry was teaching resultant prism. So I thought all the classes were like that level. So I was just like, holy crap, these people are going to be like, super smart. So I came in guns blazing because I thought everybody was already this master optician. And lo and behold, I set the bar, and everybody's like, well, nothing like Chelsea, but I was literally trying not to like.
I'm so.
I wasn't trying to like undermine anyone. It was just like I saw excellence in I saw Sarah, I saw Fernell, I saw Harry, and these are people I don't know, and I was just like, here we go, like this. I gotta do well. And luckily I chose a subject that I really, really liked. And I had regurgitated to my apprentices 100 times. So that was also like behind me. And yeah, the rest is history. With OME, I do see an opportunity to kind of shift the optical landscape. One of the things I love about it is that it's free to others, unless you want to pay for it. And what we provide for free, you can't get anywhere else. I also love that we are creative and adaptive to all these people who are coming towards us. And I think that my part probably in the future, I definitely will I see myself like overcoming my fear of math, because I've learned so much just by in the second round going through and like digesting concepts and understanding how the formulas work. I can see myself branching off And I would still work with OME, but I can see myself in like my little micro lectures and stuff, having my own little like library and database. So like an optical library, if you will. And it's still, I feel like that is kind of adherent to our values because, you know, what do you do to the library? You get free information, you have access to all these resources. And I kind of want to curate that. I still want to speak. I still want to be an in-person teacher. But I feel like OME is like right in step with my values right now. And even the job I'm working at, they're like, you're really good. And I'm on the fast track, I think, to succeed in that area too. But
And you know
I know that, yeah, thank you. I know that, like, I talked about this group in my job interview. I was like, this is important to me. Like, you have to make time for this. And yes, I will be taking off. If you don't, I will. So I have kind of shifted my priorities, and this is like, I can work retail probably for another 24 months, just knowing this is going to be there if I decide to ever jump ship. My next, after I pass my ABO advance, and I feel really good about it. I feel better. I thought I felt good about it before, but now I feel like I will own it, you know? I definitely like feel like it's going to be writing my first few classes, getting my speaker certification, and then probably, start rolling out those classes and helping the people here who face the same challenges that I did, get them past that so that they can find a like even smoother path to licensure. I don't think anyone should go through what I did. It was just too hard. And I know that people were making it difficult because I showed up to my state's continuing education event as a proctor, and everybody was like, oh snap, you're still here? I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. Like, what the heck? So I know like we really need to shake some things up and like make this easy, accessible, and it shouldn't be like a highbrow niche that, you know, certain people can get into. Like, yes, there are certain things they shouldn't get into, but if you love it and you're passionate about it, it should be smooth sailing. You should have like direct path to where you're going to go. And I feel like OME does that. My apprentices already love the website and everything. So I know you guys are going to be doing good work.
I love hearing it. So you even got your apprentices to come like take a look and like getting them involved.
Oh yeah, and the only thing is they're like, well, I just don't have time. I was like, well, I'm sorry you don't have time to make yourself a better person. I'm sorry you don't have time to make yourself a better optician. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not the one. Like, I am not the one who will cut you off in an instant. And I keep telling them, like, my new apprentice has 30 days to either sign up for an NAO course or a optical development course. She can't come and tell me that she does not have the information when I told her, listen, you have to pay for it. You can either, yes, you can go to these free classes, but you're still going to have to pay for a quality education.
Sometimes
but yeah,
help. You have that, like, you pay something that almost keeps you connected to it. And so, like, you pay for the classes, now you feel like you have to finish it. And that's one thing I love about us doing the free stuff is everybody that's joining us and doing it for free, like, those are heavy hitters. Those are hungry people. And that's why I love what's gone on here so much. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I love everything you said. It's made all of us, I think, feel special to be a part of it. I do have a question because I'm going to ask this of everybody. So of everything, and you kind of talked about it, but what do you think OME has upped your game? And if so, how and what could we do more of?
You up my game?
Yeah, like did like once you got involved, well, it wasn't OME at that point, it was still just the advanced group, but like what has the group and all the people involved that you've met, like have they helped you bring your game to the next level? And question to that, what would you add to it?
So so how you guys have helped me is that it's really funny how when I say, I like help, I say I teach on the weekends, but I say after work, I go and study optics. And people go, ooh. I was like, yeah, I'm a nerd. So
that's
they really respect that extra dedication to my craft, because when you tell me you have keratoconus, I'm like, oh, I'm actually looking at your eyeballs now, and I'm looking for the Munson sign, right? Like, do you have a pokey eyeball? I don't know. Like, are you lying to me? Yes, like I take these concepts, especially after I've heard them so many times, and I apply them to like everyday life. So yes, I have the respect of some of the 30-year-old opticians, because I'm like, yeah, I was just teaching. I was just case in point, I was over here and I was doing the lens maker's formula. Let me make sure I got it right. The radius of curvature square. I want to say that's right. But I was drawing it out because I had to practice it. And they were like, what the heck is this? And I was like, well, actually, this helps me tell the thickness of your frame. Or maybe it was lens thickness. It was sagittal depth. There it was. It was sagittal depth formula. So I was drawing it out and I was talking about it. And I was just talking about it because I needed to practice. But also they were like, what are you doodling? And I was just like, this. And the optician was just like, what the heck is that? And I was like, well, you have to learn that to get into your advanced studies. And she was just like, why do you need that? And that, it just streams up the conversation more. So that's where being a part of this group really like engages others and makes them aware that there is a higher level of learning out there for opticians. And then what I think we could add to the group is I think what we're doing with the group is great. I do like the challenge that we've presented to people. I think we could diversify our group into, I know Brian's doing it with the basic, but I feel like we're not putting enough people onto the basic. I feel like there are a lot of opticians out there who are just like kind of encroaching on, new opticians. And if new apprentices knew that there was a free resource out there, we would be swamped.
Say something here. I think most of y'all are on Opticians on Facebook. I think it would be good if you guys talk directly to
I'll chat with Colleen.
To some of the admins, because what I see on there constantly, and I don't mean anything derogatory about her, is Bob Fesmeyer, as soon as somebody asks, does anybody know of any study guides or anything like that, pops on and says Carrie Wilson.
He puts our group on there most of the time too for advanced.
I do see
I just
Melanie
want
on.
to remind everybody that we're live and we're streaming live from multiple sites, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, thank you.
Might be talk to Bob Fesmeyer. He's one of the admins or moderators.
Yeah.
And see if you can ask him to promote free. All those, that's great too, but he promotes Carrie Wilson the most. And I'm not saying anything bad about Carrie or Laramie Kay or anybody else's books, Fresnel's books or anything like that, but maybe ask Bob to tune into some of the group and see what it's about. And for a lot of people that say that they can't afford to buy books and things like that, say, here is an alternative to push OME a little bit more.
I think that's something to think about for sure. That's something to think about.
I do understand what you're saying. I think just like sticking with what OME can do, like, yes, we're in a capitalistic world. Competition is just a part of the environment. It's a jungle out there, but it's really about survival of the fittest. And we just had this conversation last class. They literally have a 6-hour crunch course on the advanced exam. However, people want to be in OME for the quality, the pace, and the dedication of us showing up every night. So I feel like we have a completely different product. It's not about a book. It's not about whose name is getting out where. It's about building a stronger optical community for sure. And we're doing that by making sure everyone has access. We're doing that by making sure we, like you said, up the bar, and we're making sure that everybody knows that opticians can do better, and we're not basic. Okay, we're just not basic anymore. We're gonna get stuff done.
It's a new learning experience than what's been out there before.
Yeah.
Yes, I really love it.
So I want to pipe in real quick. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for sharing that. It always makes me feel special hearing you talk, and I just love like your opinion on everything. Thank you so much. But now that we actually have everybody around, I just wanted to do the quick toast, and then we'll keep going around because I do want everybody to kind of say their piece and talk about their experience and what they've done. Well, no, you can sit down. I'm the important one right now.
Are you
Damn, Mike. I know, yes, and you're gonna stab me with it.
You do it.
So I want to toast this out there to absolutely every single one of you, both here and afar. We have people from Oregon, Florida. CJ, I forgot where you're from. I'm so sorry.
Colorado.
Colorado. Yay. Someplace in Missouri. We have South Carolina. Harry from Pennsylvania, who, and I might add, has probably been one of the biggest driving forces behind getting us where we are, with his intellect and power just to be able to talk to us about doing stuff, and it's been such just a power hit.
And
Chelsea's creativity is off the charts. Chelsea's you have jumped in and taken over some stuff that has really been so helpful to me, because now I don't have to worry about stuff every Monday night. And I think you're killing it. And the way that you go about it is fantastic. CJ, again, I talked to you at the beginning. I want you to be more a part of this. I'm so happy that you jumped in for this, because you deserve to toast with everybody here just as much. Lewis, you have added not only your comedy, and we all like to have fun, we all pick on each other, but your knowledge base. When you get in there, our late night 2-3 a.m. discussions, I mean, nothing can beat that. I will wake up tired as hell every Tuesday because I enjoy talking with everybody. And it's just fun to be able to trade ideas on that kind of level with everybody. And it's just, I can't think of anything better. Wes, your contributions and you're hanging out and you're helping on the back end as much as you have has been outstanding, especially to have not one but two ABO masters as a part of just this group right here. It's super awesome. I feel like we are not just lucky to have an ABO in, but we're lucky to have a Wes and we're lucky to have a Harry. And there's just nothing that beats that. And I want to take it back.
Thank you.
We'll go over to Heather Fowler right here. I know she hasn't been quite on the front lines of the OME stuff, but she's the one that gave me a chance in Rotting Hell 15 years ago. I tell everybody it's 15 years ago. We'll go with that. So, she took me from a part-time position to assistant manager within a year and a half, 2 years, and just found this love and saw that gleam in my eye that turned me into, thank goodness, the monster I've become today. And I can't thank her enough for that. Brian, for being there next to me, bouncing ideas back and forth 2 years ago about, I'm going to buy this Optical Made Easy domain. I have no idea what we're going to do with it. But you know what? It's available and it's cheap. And we bought it. And so to mix that with the ABO Advanced and everything that's become of it has been outstanding. So Brian, and now running our ABO group, I'm the blunt instrument. I'm the person that's going to run out there and talk to everybody and make promises I have to keep up with. Brian's the logical one that tries to bring me back down to earth, which is a fantastic pairing, thank goodness. As well as my wife, who has tolerated all of my extra spending, traveling, Monday nights, Tuesday nights, pretty much everything that has happened since the day I started this. She used to say, how was your class? And then I see her the next afternoon and she goes, you stayed up till 3, didn't you? And so her support me and not complain even once about it. I cannot speak highly of her enough. Then I have Heather right here. Yes. Then I have Heather Brandenhorst right here, who I met, I was basically on a street in Fort Worth at OAA while we were out to have a couple of drinks with Carrie and the other Heather. I was there because I was invited to be a part of a panel put on by the Heathers with Wes moderating it and Jane there as well. And we had done the advanced group before, but that was my first foray out into the world. And to see the difference that this group has made, that the amount of people that call my name from a distance, I turn around and then I spend 5 minutes trying to figure out who they are, but then they only know me as the floating head on the screen. But like, to realize the impact that this has made on everybody across the country. And it's been phenomenal. And Heather has been right there. And I've been trying to make her actually sit in the class. She's finally doing it now. And you better keep coming.
Look, I will.
You'll have your minute. You'll have your minute.
I will.
And then Jane, who has also just dove in, joins our late night discussions, has been there as a helping voice and a helping hand and to help support all of us that are, going after this, and we do the ABO advanced group, but we all know all of us are looking at something further. We take this test not because we want to get $1 raise an hour. We take it because we want to be better. We want to actually get, find that knowledge. We want to attack it and we want to keep going further. Oh, now I got this advanced. Well, now it's time for me to do this research for this really great Cal-wide NCLE tech level 3 that's finally going to get Harry and him, I hope. But like, that's why we go about it. And it's been an amazing group because nobody here is motivated by money. And everybody in this room and that has been involved for the most part has been motivated purely by seeking the knowledge that I feel like opticians need to be back at. We need to take it back from optometrists, not in a bad way, but we need to be able to do our thing. Talk to them. It is live, Chelsea. That's why I had to back off. But just to be able to get out there, us understanding what we're doing, learning the ability to refract is so important, whether we get to do it or not. You know what? That's going to save that doctor chair time. And you know what? That's going to make you that much more valuable because that money you can negotiate in your pocket. And that's the thing is we all get hungry. We all get out there. And I am just so happy to have been a part of this, have this happen. And I'm going to get emotional in a second, so I'm going to stop. But this is the toast. So I wanted to raise my glass to every single person that's here and that could not make it. And thank you all so very much for an amazing fucking ride that we're going to continue going.
Cheers, cheers.
There you go.
Cheers.
Sorry, that was a long talk. But I would like
It was like a wedding toast. It was like a wedding toast.
So is that good is what you're saying?
Yes.
Now it means you have a new ball and chain.
Oh my god, I've been looking for this thing. So
is it CJ?
Comfortable going around. I would love CJ if you wouldn't mind diving in, and you don't have to take as long as us, or you can take as long as you want. That's up to you.
Sure. I mean, I think for myself, I just stumbled across it. It was kind of just a personal idea for me to kind of continue on with, to take the advanced, because similarly to Chelsea, I've been in about 10 years in the industry now, but for me, it was sort of a I came into it from, I have kind of a weird background, not at all optical related. But what I was doing beforehand was I was a nanny. I mean, not just a nanny, I know, but a nanny. I was taking care of children anyway. And then the family that I was working for, they moved. And so I was looking for something new. And the optometrist in my local area happened to be hiring at the time. Well, I kind of got into it. He took a chance on me. And I was lucky because he was pretty new to buying his practice there. So he was still building his patient base. And my doctor, he had been an optician for 7 years before he went to optometry school. So he had a lot of background in optics and optical and opticianry and stuff too. So he just trained me hands-on. And Colorado's not a licensed state. So, it was really just hands-on learning. And thankfully, because, he didn't have as many patients throughout the day, we had a lot of time to just sort of learn things, which was nice. So I started with him in August of 2015, and then went to Colorado. Has an Opticians Association conference every year, and they have an ABO boot camp. And so I took the ABO boot camp then, and that was in March, April of 2016, so I did the boot camp and then I took my basic exam in May. So I started in August. I took my basic exam in May and passed, surprisingly. So, I mean, the boot camp worked because it taught to the test, but I couldn't tell you that I felt so much more knowledgeable by any means, after having passed that exam, but I continued to learn, just in theory over the years. And I think for me, it was just sort of like a personal thing. Like it had been several years into stuff now that I started to asking my own self higher level questions, like going a little bit deeper and trying to research things, doing continuing education courses and realizing I actually want to know more. I don't want to feel incompetent when somebody comes to me with a question that I can't solve. And it's really frustrating and it's disappointing. And so I kind of started to think about doing next level stuff and wanting to get into the advanced, and it just sort of worked out that I happened to stumble upon a post that Mike had put, about doing those, the advanced classes or whatever. And so I signed up, not at all thinking that I would be in the first one. So I think I put like, yeah, not in the next 6 months, like whenever. So I didn't expect him to be like, hey, you're in the class, at all. And so I was kind of like, it was like unexpected, and kind of the same thing when I started the class. I really I didn't expect I would ever show my face. I was just going to be a wallflower. I was just going to listen and, and I kind of, I felt like Chelsea, when I joined the group, I felt like I was going to be so wholly behind from everybody else. I was thinking everybody else was going to know all this stuff and I wasn't going to know anything, and I was going to be really behind and real stressed out about it. And even in the first class, when we went through the outline of things and I was like, I don't even understand what all these categories are, this is going to be really stressful. And so it was kind of fun to see, just the growth from class 1 to the end, just how much more open I felt just because of the nature of the people in the class and how welcoming you guys made it was so important, because it really fostered a community like Chelsea was talking about. It wasn't this was something for me, having worked for the same doctor in a small town optometry practice, learning all my stuff basically there. I had never really branched out to meet other opticians or people in the optical field. And so it was really surprising to even Harry listening to you talk, or Jane listening to you talk, and these are people with the knowledge base that I could only imagine, I couldn't even dream that people know these kinds of things, so all these questions that I had, and I was there are really people who know these answers, it was kind of surprising and overwhelming. But also too, I was also the kind of person who I didn't really have extra money to spend $100 on a textbook for a $300 exam, where I was only going to get a $500 bonus at work, and so it was the same thing too. So for myself, it was nice that I was able to do this free, but it's the same thing, you get what you put into it. And so for myself, I did a lot of, I utilized the resources that I could find, and that was advanced CE courses that people posted through different things, and then just all these different articles and with topics and stuff, and then listening to other people's presentations, and then doing flashcards, and as we approached the end, even still too, I didn't necessarily feel I was so ready to take the exam for myself, and I didn't really think oh, I should do it. But then as classes started to wind down with the topics, Mike started to be all right, well, who's registered yet? Who's gonna do it? Who's getting in? And so I kind of felt to be all right, peer pressure, but not peer pressured, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? It was just sort of I don't know if I would have done it just for my own self, but because I felt I was part of this community and we were all doing it together, I kind of felt I was part of a team, and I was kind of all right, I got to do my part. I got to get it, So anyway, and so then I just registered, and I kind of didn't want to tell anybody at first. I was just going to be we're just going to see. I don't expect to pass myself. I'm just going to do it. And so then finally, as it got closer, I did end up telling you guys that I was going to do it, but I just for 2 or 3 weeks right before, I didn't want to put it off, because I knew if I put it off, then I would put off studying, and it wouldn't be fresh in my mind. So I just crammed as much information, went back through all the classes and stuff for the last couple weeks before, And lo and behold, I passed. Woohoo! So it was very exciting. But I think kind of like to reiterate for me, like what Chelsea was talking about. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And thank you all, because for real and seriously, I couldn't have done it without every single one of you. You know, I really couldn't have. And I really appreciate everything that you guys have done and all the like, just even not even just the intellectual support, but just the emotional support as like a community, because you do feel like you are part of something rather than just like kind of, you know, like Chelsea was talking about, it's like making these connections and building an industry. Like when I started listening, even like listening after hours classes when you guys would chat on Discord, and I was like, you would talk about like all these different associations, and I was like, I've never heard of any of these associations in my life. You know, like I didn't even know what they were. I didn't know there were all these optical associations. I mean, I knew we had a Colorado one, but I didn't know like there were like big ones. Like I didn't know anything. I really didn't, because I had never been exposed to it just with like other people. I mean, I'd gone to Vision Expo, but my experience at Vision Expo was like, we went out there because we built a new building, so we needed frames. So we met with like frame vendors, and I went to like a couple CE classes, but I didn't like, you know, network with anybody or meet anything. So it's been such a joy to connect with everybody and to know that this is like, yes, we passed, we're a class, but like we're not done with each other. You know, it doesn't mean it's like you passed your class, congratulations, now goodbye forever. You know, like it's like, all right, now you're part of this. Now how are you going to pay it forward, essentially, like to the optical community? So
And it
was awesome, and so I appreciate it. So I'm still, for myself, you know, I'm obviously still trying to figure out my next step in the journey as well, you know, but it's fun to like be a part of what everybody's doing, you know.
Like all of us that have been in the group and been involved, you know, even from some people like the Paige that I didn't even know who she was when we started. And then when I figured out who she was, I was scared shitless, forget my language. But like I was like, oh my God, she's one of the big dogs. Like she knows the shit. But like, you know, we became connected and we all still just did our thing, and all these connections that we've made within the classes, and everybody like CJ, you finding the post and be like, you know what? Oh, I need to jump into this. I don't think you know how much it means to me, for you in particular, not that nobody else matters. But like you know, you being a part of this, because you were such a standout star that we made you the centerfold 2 weeks ago for a class to show them, kind of to set the expectation. Chelsea was saying.
Tell him, Mike. You tell him, Mike.
Well, thanks.
We did, because I was just like.
So like,
Hi everyone.
Your presentations, what you did was so amazing. Like you were a power hitter. And so, like, this industry and being a part of this and knowing that we're all still connected. And if I ever have a question, you know what? Like, I'm going to call somebody on this screen or in this room. And, and to me, that's everything. And I think contribution in particular was just, I think it really upped our game as well. You and Chelsea both, we took a group. If you go and watch the first sessions classes, it was very structured in a very beginner way. And if I recorded that first class, we lost half of the class because I didn't know what I was doing. So just so everybody knows, like, I was starting out just like everybody else. I was freaked out when I saw 20 boxes on the screen. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. And so, you know, and getting involved and being here and just hearing the stories and seeing what you've done, like you being involved in the CE stuff, like your classes, I hope you realize that all you got to do is add about 10 minutes and write an outline, and all of your classes are CEs and they're yours. They are under your name, and you go out there, you get that in when it's time, because that's the goal for, I think, ultimately all of us. Sorry, I just wanted to.
Can I insert? Hey guys, are you guys all on Seco? I'm jealous. I wish I was. I want to insert because I know, you know, obviously I just went into your office not that long ago, but you know, if I could entice you for potentially next step, because I like love hearing all this, you know, all of you guys deserve like everything. And also too, Mike, I didn't necessarily drop from your class for any sort of disorganization or anything. I'm just way too busy right now, and I'm really trying to focus trying to
You're
focus
good.
on the OAC, and I want to insert that, you also have some states that, I'm actually trying to help Nebraska out as well. So like, if we have local speakers and stuff like that, that's really something that we want to empower in the state, right? So, would love to have more local speakers. That's really huge. And I'm looking for 2-3 more board members. And I'm going to be the president next year. And I'm really looking to make huge, huge differences in the optical community, honestly, in the Rockies at this point. And I would really, really, really love to have you on my board. I promise that it might be something that, it seems like maybe would be your next step, right? If you kind of want to reach out to other opticians and, like you mentioned, a lot of stuff happened. And that was kind of me a few years ago when I went to leadership. I was like, mind blown about like, wow, like seeing how all the other states work and how, just the differences of optical skills that exist. And I actually feel like I've just been exposed even just recently to, side that's not even technical. We're on the frame making side and the service side of it. And I would
You need your signal cut out, Heather. Your signal.
You're staticky, baby.
Well, that's one way.
Oh,
To
it's because I'm in my car. That's fair.
So like E.T.
I'm in Nebraska.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I go to Kansas. That signal's bad out in the Midwest.
Come from
But no, and I know that you haven't just completely dropped out. Like me and you talked, hell, like that was you had me on a panel that I think the Heathers came up with, and I was just honored to be a part of that. But meeting you there and seeing the drive only furthered the mission that we're doing here and just opened up more doors. And if you ever need speakers, so the goal, another goal with OME is clearly we have a bank of speakers, but you know what? We also have a bank of speakers that have never spoken before. And so some of us just need to get a gig and get out there and teach. And we're all capable of it, but need a little practice. And so this is also an open invite. We should
brand that. We should do a whole event of like everyone's first class. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
that'd
mean?
be
Like
fun.
say all new speakers that have never spoke before. We should like make a brand of that, right? Say, hey, come and support all these new speakers and give them that opportunity. I think that would be really cool.
I think we need to work on that because that's one of our goals. Like everybody that gets their advance, okay, yay, great, woo, got it. But most people aren't just trying to get their AC to show off because nobody knows what the AC is. I give out my business cards to people every day. They're like, ABO AC. Oh, so you're ABO certified? Oh, no, ABO advanced. Oh, so you know the really complicated stuff like Prism? I'm like, it's a little different than that. So people don't even know, but to be able to, but all of us want to get out there and teach. And as you know, the format of the class, everybody teaches their section that they volunteer for. And I know you have heard at least a couple of the people in the class that have already written a CE. All they have to do is submit what they have and pay the money. And they got 2 years. And then they get to go speak. And yeah, you're probably not going to get paid shit for your first couple of them. But you know what? You get your legs under you. So we do an online thing. Maybe we co-brand something with some of the state organizations. Maybe we talk with Heather and OME provides 4 or 5 hours of online CE credits. And boom, there we go. And so I love to talk with you about that, Heather, because I think that would not only be great practice for all of us, but I think it would be a great system to set up for the future of where we're going. Sorry, I monopolized that.
You monopolize everything, man.
Yeah, I love that. And we could even just be like, we could call it something where like, it's like new voices unleashed or something.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I mean, even the state organization unleashed because you're wild. You're going Wild West and hiring random people. So you can make it a whole like random thing like that where people are almost intrigued. Like, who the hell are these people?
Well, and that's the thing too is that our industry.
That should be the theme. Wild West.
Our industry is very like, lack of a better word, the good old boys club, and there is a lot of
Always, literally.
there's a loyalty to speakers. There's a handful, but if there is a collective, united thing, like let's bring exactly, and that's exactly it. But like us speaking to that with Heather, it gives a platform of interest of new speakers, and that there usually has to be some shoe in order to get into these different things.
So we force our way in, like we have with the advanced.
And we also brand not only OME, but ourselves individually and what it is that we specialize in and write series about.
Yes, absolutely.
And own it, right, Harry?
Well, and another thing too.
From Harry, he's usually the one that talks with us the most. Yeah, we'll be here all night. Don't.
Another thing I would like also for a second, just kind of like on that vein, because you're talking about like with speakers and stuff too, is for myself, I would also like to become competent in being able to write stuff as well, though. Like we talk about like articles and that kind of stuff too. So it'd be fun to have like an optical made easy periodical of some sort, like an online magazine or that kind of stuff as well.
Why don't we set aside every week or so? We'll find a night that's comfortable, because I want to practice that too. I have a lot of lines to go off of. We can do a newsletter and we can learn to type it and write on that. But we can also all meet and bring our heads together and say, hey, does this make sense? And then, we have each other's peer review to be able to say, oh, I would change this, or maybe you look at something differently, but maybe say 3 of us are in the middle of writing a CE, but we need to pick each other's brains. Mm-hmm. And so we have a night where we just discuss that with one another and we try to get into it. We do another Build Your CE class. Yes, Harry, you did an amazing job for yours, but honestly, I feel like we should actually have a different speaker doing a Build Your CE class every so often, so we see different methods.
So it's almost like,
Yes, and do it either we can meet every 2 weeks or monthly, or probably every 2 weeks.
That way it's 2 weeks, bi-weekly. That way we're not killing ourselves.
Killing ourselves weekly, like committing ourselves to the different aspects, because we all have stuff. But that would be I really want to do. I wasn't a part of that Build Your CE class that Harry did. I didn't know about it until after the fact. And excuse me, first of all,
sorry.
Excuse me, Mike. Anywho. But, I have the very fortunate pleasure, as I think all of us do, to have access to each and every one of these people. Harry definitely being one of them for me as just like a sounding board and mentor and friend.
Yeah, he needs to work for NASA. I don't know what you're doing with us, buddy. I love you, but I don't know what you're doing.
But doing that and doing it twice a year like we do for...
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Why don't we build on that, CJ? What do you think?
We can all contribute,
for sure. Yeah.
Do you want to spearhead it? Do you want to get together and we can work it out and maybe you help lead it?
I can certainly try. I don't know if right away, but we can.
I started this group and had no idea what I was doing.
Yes, that's true.
And when I started it, I was in headlights. But by the end of the first class, most of us passed the radio advanced. So let's work on that. I'll obviously help you out. Let's go to town with it. But I think we should start that.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, you just volunteered yourself for way more work, and I love it. Thank you.
Volunteered for way more work than I think.
And if you need any, I know, Gary has used me and stuff, but if you need any, reach out flyers to try to get, more people to, get on kind of a Google form so that you're kind of figuring out who to talk to and stuff, I could always make some enticing flyer that gets people to help out with that,
Yeah.
Did you guys see what ChatGPT said to call it? ChatGPT says that we should call it the Wild West Vision Roundup, New Eyes on the Frontier.
So you know what, Heather, CJ, and whoever else wants to get involved, let's start a group chat. Let's start that this week and let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can make it something.
We could also bring once or
maybe
once or twice a class. We could bring very active Andrew Bruce would do it.
Andrew Bruce, yes.
We could bring in some very well-known speakers to come in and give us their breakdown of guidance, at least 2 per class link.
Because everybody's got a different way. Everybody's got a. I've written a couple classes now. The outlines are two very different things. I look at them both, and honestly, like I get confused, and then I'm like, "Oh, Harry, please look at this." But I'm sure Harry's sick of reading my writing by this point. And so, but like having different opinions on everything, and I'm gonna submit it, Harry, in about the next week. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So thank you for your promotion on that. But CJ, I actually love what you said. Sorry you volunteered yourself for that. Or I volunteered.
See what comes of it when we go around the room. We're
Now
creating
we're
new
gonna
things that
do
we're now
this.
responsible for.
But this is why we're doing this.
I know. I love it so much.
I wanted to say after CJ was talking about her experience in the session that you were in, that what I noticed about CJ and her contribution to that group was that she was the first to take the exam.
Yes.
And she was the one that gave everyone that did decide to try
And that's a courage.
Hope and motivation.
the motivation to try it and do it and not be afraid if they failed, they'll just take it again. But she was the first one that did pass.
I think that's the
And
reason I
she
connect so
motivated
much.
everybody.
The very first session.
And it was interesting to see, not just CJ, but she did have a remarkable change from the first day to the end.
Her and
But
Hayes.
She,
Those baseball cards, man.
everyone was almost like a fish out of water in the first week or two, and everyone just kind of grew. It became a community, and they did look to CJ. Oh, she took the exam, and even to inspire Nancy.
Oh, and I heard people tell me that they took it because you did.
Yes,
And when I took mine, I announced it scared I would fail it. And I remember getting a call from Sierra being like, you know what? That's amazing what you did, but that takes a lot of courage. And I was scared to death I would fail it and I would ruin the entire group and none of this would ever go any further. But I definitely passed. But so did you. Like, that's the thing. It just takes a push.
we would pester everyone like Nancy. We would just ask and ask and ask. And that one time, Mike got on and helped somebody find
Karen.
a location.
Yeah, Karen.
I
She asked, find a location. He was like,
Yeah,
"Oh well,
she did.
Yeah.
all that." Yeah.
That took an hour to get her signed up.
But
She asked it.
CJ was the first one, and he got the whole thing rolling for everybody else. And it
That's
was
because if I can do it, you can do it. That's how I say.
And there's
It's a
one
true story.
There's only one in every class that's willing to say, you know what? I'll fire the gun at the bulletproof vest first. Now let's see. I'll wear it. Let's see if it.
yeah.
And once that one does it, everybody falls in. So I learned that on the first session. I did not hold everybody accountable. So only a couple people took it. So that's why you saw me really like, all right, where do you live? All right, let's find the closest center. What times are you available? Oh, Saturday, 11 a.m. Let's sign you up.
Yep.
And
Well,
so
and to be honest, like for me, Mike, with that too is definitely why I did it, because like I said, like I don't necessarily always have like the personal self-motivation, but when like I had your expectation of doing it, I was like, well, we got to do it, so don't want to disappoint him. So,
because
CJ,
my
CJ and
people
Lewis.
pleaser came out, but it
I am
worked.
motivated by young. So I freak out and I'm like, I don't know, I did the wrong thing. I pushed them too hard. So like you saying that makes me feel good because I'm just gonna get to meet people now. So I'm glad it worked.
So check this out. I've got kind of a funny story about that.
There's Wes.
Where's your camera?
Yeah.
Wes?
You know how you're talking about like when you know other people have passed it, it makes you feel a lot better. Like, oh, if they did it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So when I did it, the only two people I knew in the whole world that had done that previously was freaking Harry and Carrie Wilson, and neither one of those are slouches. So I'm just like, oh crap, this is going to be hard. I did not expect it to be easy at all because I'm like that. Like I say, the only two people I knew that had done it were both known to be very smart. And I was like, oh, here we go. And it had like a 5% pass rate at the time.
Well, that's how
It was a bit scary
I
going in.
Yeah. I was terrified. I was terrified. But that was my point, was I felt like this is what I said. One thing about this group that has really pushed me as well is that I've learned for sure that the more you know, the more you don't know. Or the more you know, you don't know with optical. You know, like I
Oh, for
listen and
sure.
I'm like, yeah, I know a lot of stuff. And then I listen to you, Wes, or you, Harry, talk about something, and I'm like, I don't know anything. I really don't know anything. So when I took it, like I crammed and I was just like, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And so when I did pass, that's when I was like, wow, I was more prepared than I thought I was. Congratulations to me. This class is great. Now you can all do it.
You
So
put in the amount of energy. So, and I have a question, if you don't mind me asking. Did you ever buy any of the books?
no, nothing.
I put that on the record that nobody has to buy anybody's book,
Yeah, I really don't.
that they can do it without that. And I stress that so because I want nobody to feel biased towards anything. Now, get all the books you want. I own every single one of them, and every single one of them is 100% amazing. I love
The only
Purnell's. I
the
love
only
it.
book the only book that I used was because Harry gave us the link to the ophthalmic dispensing, the systems for ophthalmic dispensing. So, and then he told me like read like
That was just out there. Harry just
it was
found
just
that.
that. Well, then you told me to do it.
You were
or something.
supposed to forget
Anyway.
about that.
Well, we
No,
just,
I think I think you told me because there's a link to it on Opticians on Facebook in the resources. It's out there anyway. And so I had it anyway. And then you told us like read like the second half or whatever. And so I found like kind of when it went through like that, when it started to get into like the actual optics of things, like the optical cross and like that kind of stuff, like around chapter 12 in it or whatever, I read like the next 3 or 4 chapters. But that's the only like book that I even used. And even then it was a digital copy. It wasn't even the hard copy because I don't know what happened to ours at work. So that, and then I used a lot of the NAO CE courses that I could find online. Like there's an advanced prism one and like some other things. And then I found like a Canadian opticians website that had a bunch of like courses and stuff through. So I like went through those, but really it was just like resources. Like I looked at the outline, the stuff, and then rewatched all of our videos and stuff. And that's what I said. Like there was one that Karen did in the middle that when she went through it, it was real overwhelming. But by the time at the end, when I was starting to study and having done like more of the rest of the stuff too, when I went back and rewatched Karen's class and like all the formulas and stuff, I was like, oh, all right, now I actually know what these mean, you know? So it was nice to go back and like rewatch things too. There was a few of them. It wasn't just that one that I rewatched parts of, especially, you know, Harry's when you did the result in resolving prism. And then I didn't rewatch mine, but like when we did that extra part about the optical cross and doing the kind of like the curves, you know, with the optical cross, that stuff too. So I mean it was, I mean I had to put a lot of thought into it, and then I used all the ABO advanced flashcards on Quizlet and stuff too. But yeah, no, I absolutely did not buy any books, so as it was not in my budgetary means to buy an expensive textbook.
and that's what we're here for, because not only, and again, I support everybody's book. Everybody get whatever book you feel is fair. But that's the whole point, is we are here to help you get further, whether you can afford to or not. Some people, it's hard. It's an expensive test. That's not something everybody can just pull out of their ass. $225. Come on, that's a lot of money. That's a bill.
Yeah, and that was part of my motivation too. And I was really lucky because my boss reimbursed me if I passed. So I was like, extra motivation to pass because I'll get reimbursed. So that was nice.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. That's amazing that they reimbursed you for that. I did not get that whatsoever.
For the testing?
Yeah, for the ABO Advanced. Because remember, Advanced is for you, it's not for them. Anyway, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, CJ. I am, again, so thrilled that you showed up for this. Thank you. And I actually want to connect with you, so if you don't mind shooting me a message, and let's talk this week, because I actually want to put something like that together with you, if you're cool with that.
Sounds good. Yeah, you got it.
And CJ, I don't know if Lewis is here, but I did want to answer. You and the staff are gonna go to the OAC convention, yeah?
As far as I know, but we haven't really talked about it officially yet.
Okay, because Like Sarah Collins is the most incredible speaker, and I will say that she has 2 interactive courses. She's teaching color hues. Like, I know that you and your staff always come, but I know Lewis actually has come the last 2 years too. That, definitely like Vision Source is coming to Denver, and Vision Source is totally different, but I have a feeling that that's going to kind of like affect our turnout rate. But this is like going to be one of the best years of our convention, and I like really want to stress that hard.
Let me say, everybody has a mentor. I have a mentor, and that person's name is Sarah Collins.
Yeah.
You cannot have a better human being by your side or just to watch her speak for an hour. Honestly.
All
right.
What date is your event?
We always do one day event, and it's on March 29th. It's at the end of the month, and we changed locations this year to Red Rock, so it's like a little closer to Denver Metro compared to where it's been in the past. It's been in Black Hawk, which is a casino for the last 6 years.
Yeah. Share a flyer.
We might pop out there.
But I do want to move on. I'm sorry. And not that I want to interrupt you, but I just want to keep everybody going because I really want to make sure everybody gets their words out. And next up is none other than Harry Chilinguerian. Harry.
Is he there?
I would assume what this group has done for your life, but it's more not ask what I could do for you or what you could, whatever. It's the opposite of that because you're the guy. So tell me, man,
What you can do for me?
what has this group done for you and so on? They know. It's the Lex effect. He did. No. I'll take probably I'm for I will. being done. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. We have that fun for message on Facebook. All right. Well, let's also add that how many times have you gotten the other certifications? We do have to add that.
0 because let them laugh. How
Uh,
many?
and they, the last there was quite a few from what you were showing me too. This is a test that yes. Yeah. Yeah. again, fuck you. Don't thank me for being a part of it. Thank you. But no, like what you said, you're right. We do stay up till 2 or 3 a.m. with hair breakdown. And by the way, every Monday night, hey, if you don't mind, sleeping 3 hours, I highly recommend everybody in this room and online join one of our 3 a.m. talks on a Monday night. I know it sounds so terrible. For you, it's not fine to hear from you.
Oh yeah,
No,
for
you're
me,
on the
it's
Pacific
Monday
Coast.
night. I'm just going to the bar to have a drink for everyone that's there.
I say it because the world of opticianry, at least from what I'm seeing, in my opinion, and what I hear, is kind of a mess. The UOA is scrambling, figuring things out. We all want to support them and try to figure that out. The states are creating their organization. You have all these things going on. So it's like, where is this thing that I can focus energies towards? Or where can I find people that might help me because the resources I'm used to aren't there? And so I think that a lot of the track that we're trying to provide is twofold. Come on, be a safe haven. Let's talk about things. Let's work things through. And also, what can we do for you? What can we do for your society? And Harry, you have been, again, you've been supporter number one. I remember, I think the first day I talked to you, I was in a hotel in Atlanta before we moved back. And you were going to do our resultant president class. I had no idea who you were. No offense. You told me yourself you disappeared. But you fucking killed that class. And I remember messaging you later, being like, I want to create a safe haven for opticians that want to learn more. And you were talking about that would be a great idea. And here we are about a year later on that platform. And so, you thank me all you want, Harry. We're here because of you, bro. So thank you for everything that you've done and helping this to continue to grow. So I appreciate it. And I owe you in Missouri when I get there. Which also brings us to our next guest, Louis. I'm going to fuck it up. Louisa.
Lewis from St. Louis.
You can find me a
Oh
St.
boy,
Louis.
boy, are you guys in for an earful? Here we go. So the only thing I can say is, I had no intention in studying for my ABOAC. I'm a very prominent optician, OG guy in the opticians community. Reached out to me. I reached out to him and had a long conversation and said, why do you need formal education and why do you need the certifications? It's just a money grab. And he said, you're peak career. You have some stuff enough to own your own store. And, I don't know if I would take the time. And not wrong. But, so that was after leadership last year in February, about this time actually. And I think I even blew up a breakout session on the state of optician education by stating a couple well-held truths that I had when I tried to get formally educated over 20 years ago. And so there was that. And I hung out with Mike and, a good time. And I took that. And then Mike and I synced up again at Expo, 4 weeks later? And we, Mike's passion for the industry is definitely infectious. It was there that I met Harry. And I was probably 6 beers in at the Opticians on Facebook party. And then, and I just picked some rando dude to sit next to. Only guy I knew there was, I think, John Bruning. And he was hanging out in this area. I just found a seat to sit in, and it was right next to Harry Chilinguerian. I spoke with Harry for about 2 hours and got another at least 4 beers in. And I learned more from Harry in that time than I had learned in a very long time. I think probably really about 20 years. True.
hour we spend with him, we learn 4 hours worth of info.
Oh, 100%. And
Yeah.
so so it really, between leadership and getting involved with my state association and helping form and found that, it really opened my eyes to the community that is out there and, how helpful everyone can be. And so, and what I love about Optical Made Easy is that it really does serve to be a disruptor in the education space. And we have master opticians like Harry and Wesley and Jane, all contributing in their own way. Heather's, everyone, neuro-opticianry. I've been doing this for 25 years. That's nothing that has never entered my thought, right? It just was and that's what I tell folks about the optical industry. Once upon a time, it wasn't just dispensing opticians that made it this industry, right? Like, we all think of opticians as dispensing opticians. Truth be told, we had an opticians union, and the lab rats, the lab workers, were considered opticians. We have sales reps who are still opticians.
Not even lab
There
workers.
are so many
Action.
they do it. We have so many different avenues of opticianry that we have not paid attention to. We have not cared enough, and that's on the industry. That's on us as a whole, But we're at an inflection point where we're positioned to take that back, right? And we can really make the argument and say, why can't we do this? Why can't we do these things? And really reclaim our spot where we can get to the European model of opticianry. Really, when the Europeans look at us, they look at us and say, "Oh, that's cute."
Oh, and do all this education just to hand people glasses.
Yeah. And so, there's so much great potential for what we can do. And it's just step by step leveling it up. And, I don't, and the thing is, with the courses, we're learning from masters who sometimes those masters get corrected by the students. I'm thinking of Haid, and there's no, it's not hyper competitive where, oh yeah, you know what, I did miss that. Yep. Good catch. Right. And so it truly is a great community. So to be able to disrupt the optical education field, I love. To be able to disrupt the optical industry, as we're primed to do, I love. And I think we can do it, with this group of people. I really do. And I never had ever dreamed of setting my sights on advanced certification or even getting the M. And I've been told I don't need it. I'm going to get it. And I partly for ego, partly to show other people that you can do this. And I tell everyone, and everyone gets sick of hearing me say this, I'm not a math optician. I can conceptualize it well. And if I need math, I can look it up and grind it out. And if I can't grind that out, I have this great community that will help me figure it out and explain it in a way with no judgments that I feel that I can, for lack of a better way of saying it, a safe space, right? And that's what we need. And that's where we need, where people can ask these questions and understand it. And it's paid off. It's previously I would not have probably tried to teach anyone what I do, because honestly, in my business, that's my competitive advantage. In market, that's my competitive advantage. I'm better than most people here. Not all of them. I'm sure there's a couple better than me. Can name a couple of them off the top of my head, but that's why my business does so well. I had an optometrist granddaughter yesterday saying, "I'm going to come to you from now on because you know how to fit eyewear." Like, really? No one in his office can? Nope, not at all. Like, okay, well, I'll take that. How great is that? And so to go for that to get it and to become a leader in the business has now become important to me. And I don't think I would have ever got there if it wasn't meeting Harry and Mike, honestly, and saying like, that's leveling up. I can get there. And, and being able to take those complex conversations and distill that information to other people in St. Louis and say, okay, so I went from being hyper competitive and saying, well, I'm not showing you a damn thing because that's my competitive edge, to figuring out, all right, well, let's make you better because a rising tide is going to raise all ships. And if we're all better, we will all command better pay, more respect in the industry, and our skill set is going to raise. Our skill set's going to raise, and patients, customers, clients, pick your word, will be better served. And all of a sudden we become from temp bender to true masters of bending light. And so again, like, I cannot say enough about this group of people who have been involved. I cannot thank everyone enough for listening to me and tolerating my questions. It's been a wild ride, and I'm almost certain that my wife is not watching this live stream. She might be, but I cannot thank my family for the patience and like managing a store single-handedly and embarking on this adventure to be not just a state leader, but hopefully a national voice for opticians, and the privilege that is, I don't take that lightly. So, but thank you, everyone. I mean, truly, like, Mike, what you put together and your passion for in the industry is impressive, to say the least. And I can pretty much single-handedly thank you for dragging me on this journey. And again, Harry, I mean, I can't, it's supposed to be a 10-minute conversation. It turns into 2 or 3 hours. And like, how many times can you go, talk to people who just have, give you their phone numbers, call me anytime to help you out. It's remarkable to me. And in Missouri, we haven't had that for a very long time. So I'm glad that you guys are helping support that in my state, but nationally too. So thank you for being the inspiration. Every one of you, thank you for being an inspiration. It's been a wild ride. Thanks.
We love you, Lewis.
Love you, Lewis.
Mike had to use the restroom.
Stop it now.
He would he said to have Wes go next.
Oh man, I gotta go next.
Yeah, you have to speak. And where is your face?
Jesus.
Give us camera.
Well, I'm not putting my ugly face on there. Jerry Lee Lewis said you never want to follow a killer, and I'm just said to follow two, so that's not really fair. Oh my gosh, where to start? What do I get out of Optical Made Easy? Camaraderie, people to talk to about things I find interesting that nobody else really understands. Chance to give back to the industry, and hey, I learn something once in a while myself. It's like, when I was first getting involved in the industry and like wanted to get my certifications and stuff, I'd been in the lab for years, but it was an Army lab, so it was really isolated. I knew the math, I knew the optics, but I didn't know the dispensing side of the house. And one of my friends pointed me to Optiboard. This is probably about 2007, I guess. And I spent about a couple years, like, learning all kinds of shit, figuring out who were the smart people, who to listen to, and who were the crackpots. And, Harry Chilinguerian was one of the smart ones. So, I wasn't kidding earlier when I said, like, I only knew two people that had the ABO advanced certification, and it was Tim and Kerry Wilson. And I'm like, all right, these guys aren't no slouch. It's like, I can't just breeze through this test. I better prepare for this. And, it wasn't easy. And, it's a little bit intimidating when they tell you, oh, this has a 5% pass rate, and the only people are smart folks that got it. So it's like, yep, I want that. It's like, I really wanted that ABOM, and Daryl Meister was kind of the inspiration for that for me. But, I got involved with Optiboard, was a learner for a while, had a lot of cool discussions, eventually became one of the experts that, I had learned from. And, you put me in a room with Harry, we're going to talk for hours about the craziest, nerdiest shit you're going to, ever experience. But it's fun for us. Like, we're sitting there a couple of weeks ago, Monday night, about 2 a.m, talking about our different collections of obscure optical books. I mean, who does that? This group does that. And I mean, that's what I get out of it. You can't get that anywhere else. That's all I got to say about that.
I love that. Heather.
Heather, did you go with?
I'm literally thinking that you're talking about yourself, and it's literally the Heather saying, Heather, go.
It's you, me. It's the Heathers, and then we have Heather Fowler as well.
So who's up? Which Heather?
This Heather's up.
Heather Harrington.
We got.
Let's add a last name. That'll help.
No, I was yelling at her. You're looking, so she shouldn't.
I think you were looking.
Yeah, we go by the Heathers, so that's hard.
That's right, y'all do. Anyway, Heather Harrington, who actually is responsible for me getting my first public speaking gig, by the way. Thank you so much.
I've actually gotten a lot from Optical Made Easy, but I've actually been super, super busy with work. But I have actually been behind the scenes. Obviously, since I was on the first course, I've had all of the resources available to me. So studying when I can, but I actually really appreciate so much that, I've met, Mike at Leadership last year. I had met Heather previously. I actually met Jane and Wes at the 3 years ago at the Leadership. And it's really refreshing for, someone like me, like CJ had mentioned, right? I had no idea about all of these associations, and actually that there were other people that had the drive to, I used to always say that I really would love to put opticians on like the platform that we deserve. I think it's a really big deal to hold our profession to, a far higher standard than it deserves to be. And it's just so awesome and cool to be involved in a group of people and kind of a movement, right? I know you said a disruptor, but really an optical movement. And it's really cool to see, Harry going into, getting the lives involved. I always preach on how much we need to be using more technology and going live just like this. I think it's super important because it's really hard for all of us to get together all of the time and go to all of these events, and being able to be on video call and chat call and 3 a.m. Discord channels, and just to even know that people are down to do that is cool, and it's really, really helped me feel humble that
we were 3 a.m. optical calls on a Monday night. Wow, we are cool.
Every Monday.
No, seriously. And I say that because, I'm a night owl and there's a lot of other people that are like that too. And, the standard of, you know what I mean? Not, you know, the standard of going to bed at night is not everyone. And, you know, we're all nerds, and I just appreciate that, you know, you're available at that time. And I think that that's actually where a lot of these conversations that we've all discussed have actually really started to fruit. And I appreciate all of you guys allowing and embracing other people, like you had mentioned, you know, even just empowering CJ, and you know, everyone that's been in the group, I think is really, really cool. And I'm here to see it fruit even more. And I appreciate you guys, you know, having all of these resources available for opticians, and just people in the any optical professional, honestly, could take a lot from Optical Made Easy. And I appreciate you guys for really going ham on this. Like, you guys have really made something from not what was nothing, but like you mentioned, Mike, you know, you probably had no idea that it would turn into something like this. And it's really cool to see this happening. And I'm really proud to just, even in general, know all of you guys, and, you know, not make, even myself sometimes, you know, in my optical career, I felt that finding resources, you know, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, even 4 years ago, was very difficult because, you know, like CJ mentioned, a lot of the books are pretty pricey. Not all the doctors usually want to embed into education, you know. And actually, I do want to notate that the money grab thing, actually, I just had a recent discussion with a doctor, and I think that sometimes the things that are happening in their associations and happening with the AOA, I've heard a lot of discussions about how, you know, their test is like increasingly more expensive, and their pass rates lowering. And so they're kind of having an issue on their side. And I think that they're like trying to think that that's also in, you know, the optical associations as well.
Us and the wrong topics. They're like, we need to teach them leadership. We need to teach them sales. Not, hey, we need to teach them how to communicate with the patient so that the patient buys the best thing that we offer. I don't care if I have an hour-long waiting on me. I'm going to take care of this patient, and they're going to buy the best because that's what they deserve. But they focus more on the, hey, so we offer a $500 package. But if that's too much, we have a $300 one, and there's too much of that shit.
And honestly, as a freelance optician, I have probably worked at 35 opticals in the last 2 years. And it's crazy how some opticians, even actually that have been opticians for a very, very long time, actually lack some of the competency that I feel like even just, you know, a newer optician that has taken the ABOC have. And the spectrum of understanding, which like a lot of people don't understand, that when you do understand kind of more, even just, you know, regular NOEC or NOCE and advanced ABO, when you understand the technical stuff, all of the other stuff becomes easier. Maybe not like maybe the sales or patient experience, but it does, right? When you're talking lifestyle and all that stuff, you actually, when you're understanding the lenses and all of the technical stuff that is discussed, it actually does make all of those things much easier. And I think us putting opticians on a pedestal and being able to really empower opticians, which I really, really, really try to empower opticians and, you know, recharge people, because I've seen a lot of burnout. I've seen a lot of, you know, opticians not wanting to move forward because of, you know, just tactics that are happening in the office that I'm like, you know, you see some of these opticians move around because they don't, you know, doctors don't want to pay into like their education. And I really appreciate Optical Made Easy for, you know, I don't want to say free, but kind of a free resource of all these people dedicating their time, that I cannot thank you guys enough for, you know, dedicating all this time to provide the education that opticians need, opticians deserve, and to be super successful. And also, not to mention all of the categories that an optician and jobs that we can do that are totally overlooked, or not even, people probably don't even know exist. Sometimes I was actually talking to Harry about this, but a lot of opticians don't even understand, you know, the craft of opticianry not just bending light, right? You know, and I've been exposed to that like a lot in the last few years, and I really, really appreciate all of you guys for everything that you guys have been doing, and I hope to be involved into the next the advanced course, because actually after CJ, I was just in her office like a month ago, and hearing that she had passed her advance, you know, kind of actually jolted me to be like, ooh, you know, like I was supposed to be in that class, and it really inspires me to want to take that as well. For my own knowledge, you know, to at least have a seat at the table, you guys.
No, you've been such a resource. So, like, even like though you haven't been able to be a part of the classes, you have been such a part of the marketing resource and jumping on there and helping us with Canva. Like, so let's throw aside, let's pretend like the ABO Advanced Group did not exist and all we had was Optical Made Easy. That's the world we're living in right now. Guess what? We have over 100 people on that Discord that are consistently there to help people. You jump on and are more than happy to help people with Canva. Harry will hop on a call with you for 3 hours to talk about how AI will change your life, and it will. I agree. It'll pay and do it, by the way. And just so on and so forth. I'll talk to Lewis for a couple hours on a Monday night and think, holy shit, I never came across that in my 15 years. I'm glad I know that now. Now I can help my store talk about that. And lo and behold, that next week, my store's going to have some random ass issue that Lewis had the week before. But you know what we do? We all just talk. We all help. It's all almost like we're just one big group of friends that hang out once in a while and help each other out. There's no money involved. Nobody's trying. Nobody has a financial interest in it. We all are really actually here just to help the next person.
That's what it is.
Yeah. No, like we're not anything more than here to be there for the next person.
And not compete against each other, but literally build each other up.
I mean, we're national.
No,
we're national.
No.
Yes.
We want to help each other grow. And that's the difference between, I will say.
So Heather's next, obviously.
Okay.
Sorry.
But I will say, speaking to that, that is the difference between the current national leadership that we have now and the leadership going to come in that will end up coming in the future, right? 100%. And it's not anything against the
We're all learning.
Yeah, we're all learning. Right? And nothing against the current that we have now at all. Like we're just
Social media has been a big help in this industry and bringing everyone together.
Yeah.
And I think it's gone a long way. Even though we don't even promote, like people just find us, which is fantastic.
Right.
Anyway, you're up, so continue.
Okay. Oh, it's me.
Well, that's what you're up means, Heather.
I know it.
We're 2 out of 3 Heathers in.
Yeah, so I guess it's my turn.
Mine.
That's how it goes.
I did point to her.
Third time.
This group is like it means so much to me in every way. I met Mike at leadership last year, met Jane at leadership, met Wes, met Lewis, Harry. I got to meet through one of the town halls or something one of them and then got invited into this Discord, and we actually met through Discord. And Harry has been every single person here has been such a huge influence and support. Harry I can't speak enough to how much I value and cherish him, not only as a friend, but as a selfless mentor and leader that he does it effortlessly. Doesn't even, I think, realize that he's leading, but he's just putting himself into what he sees the passion in everybody else.
The good thing about Harry is he doesn't expect anything in return.
Well, and
He doesn't even fucking want anything.
no,
That's what I
and
mean.
Which Harry, dude, like
I feel one of us. I feel like
I owe you like 20 grand on time.
No
alone. Let's
kidding.
face it.
like to have access to such amazing, beautiful resources that is nothing but support. It has given me a platform to speak about things that I'm passionate about, and then also put me in a position of now, okay, now you need to do something with it and you need to write CEs. I've been a certified speaker for a couple of years and I haven't submitted one CEs. I've kept up on my certification dues, but I haven't submitted a CE because I have, and Mike and I have talked a lot about this, insane imposter syndrome. Like, who the hell am I to be coming and saying and whatever, which is a very.
I want to add to that when you're done.
Hey Heather, can I chime in for a second? If it makes you feel better, I have a huge case of imposter syndrome too, so you're not alone.
That's the case for
I'm not kidding.
We don't get over that.
I told Eric Williams that at a meeting a few years ago. He's like something. I was like, oh, why not? He's like, imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah.
You look at yourself and you're like, why the hell do I belong here?
And I don't know. Yes. And so yes. And in my head, I'm thinking, I know the answer is yes, but now I'm an authority on this saying.
Right. Exactly. But the thing is that it's okay to be wrong and it's okay to say that you don't know, because that piece right there, I love it. Harry actually got me on a call with Dr. Warren McDonald, and
I love
just spontaneously out of nowhere, because him and I were having a conversation and it was about the refracting optician piece. And I was like, I really would love for you to connect me with him. He immediately calls him, three-ways him in, and we're having this conversation. And Dr. McDonald is, I'm speaking to what I'm passionate about, which is the neuro-opticianry aspect of things. And he's challenging me. And I love that, because I know that he wasn't challenging me in a way to break me down. He was challenging me in a way to see how I would respond. And that, I said to what the things I didn't know, I was like, I don't know, teach me, please. We're all thirsty for knowledge. We all want to build each other up. We have this beautiful group of people we are future, national leaders, and we all have areas of expertise that we can all bring to the table.
We also have to realize that we are those people stepping up to the plate, and we've got to make sure that we care for that as well.
Absolutely. And I feel like we are a group of rebels in a way, because, and I say that.
Look at the entire group.
I say that out of nothing but love, that I know I am, I will challenge. I will speak to some things. I will question. And I know Lewis is the exact same way. I know Mike's the same way.
CJ.
Everybody. And Heather, it is something, and
we'll ask questions they shouldn't, but
we know how to do it in a way that is tactful and respectful and not an attack.
And has grown the community even more just for having seen that.
Yes.
So wait, you mean we're allowed to question what they say?
Absolutely, we're allowed to question, because there is, we have opportunity for growth and change, and there is so much future just in this group of people alone. And I appreciate the platform, the opportunity to collaborate with some of the most beautiful minds in this industry and the connections that are made. Being here in Georgia right now, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And you know what's crazy?
Even if I had to pick her up at 1 a.m.
First of all, it was, you were late. It was midnight. Let's start there. Rude. And by pick me up, he means get me on the ghetto ass public transit.
Ghetto is strong.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, where am I? I don't know this.
All right, yes, I want to see the ghetto. Calm down.
I do. I really do want to see it, but not by myself on public transit, okay? Also...
Come on, Mike. Come on, you do better. College Park.
Should have picked me up by car. But being here, the only reason that I came to Seco, I honestly could care less about. I'm speaking, first of all. How dare you interrupt my life? Rude. The only reason I came to Seco, it was Yes, the classes are free. That's there. I don't need to have like to be here for credits. Of course, I always want to learn. My convention is in May 30th to June 1st. And I have 13 credits offered, 3 course tracks, an ABO review. It is like an enormous convention that we have. I don't need the credits here. I'm here because I wanted to be with my people in person that I speak to on a regular basis. And I'm really sad that Harry's not here and that Lewis isn't here and that Heather's not here and CJ. Like, it would be so amazing to have this in person. And we will someday because we'll plan an OME event. Central,
or just come to the Missouri conference in July.
Or just come. Actually, no. Come to the Oregon conference because it'll be at the coast in a casino, beachfront casino. One of the best times of year, and it's 3 days long, 13 credits, and we're having a beachfront casino. Be one of the best times of year, and it's 3 days long, 13 credits, and we're having a beachfront. And we have a ton of LBs too. So just putting that out there. I know that Mike's trying to come. Heather's coming, Lewis is trying to come, Harry's trying to come, Jane's trying to come. Like, it would be so cool to, yes, blow it all up. So, anyway.
I know I'm aiming for it. Y'all should too, because honestly, the lineup, if you get a chance to be in the home state of Sierra, Fernell, like, come on.
Sarah Fernell and Andrew Bruce are all 20 minutes in a 20-minute radius from me.
Yeah.
I love him so much. But they're all speaking. We have Arlen coming. We have Bill Gerber, of course. We have Optical Jedi, our darling dear Rick Peralta.
He's going to join our dance group.
He's amazing. Like, we just have a real, like, our speaker lineup is insane, and it is like going to something like this, but in just a little bit less time. And I would love to see faces there and opportunities.
And you know what? I would love to see OME show up in some shape or form at every state. Kind of thing.
That would be amazing.
I can't help but wonder, how much is all this costing you guys?
We're trying to
figure out how to state.
Oh,
I think he's asking about.
No, mate. Like this meeting with all these folks you're talking about. My God, how expensive is that?
I'll tell you something, Wes. We do this very, very smart. First of all, our sponsorships, our sponsorships are crazy because the people in this industry know where the passion lies behind the people on this board. We also have a very good relationship with Chinook Winds Casino every single time. Every other year we have our conference there. So they take really good care of us. Sarah and Fresnel both basically donate their time. Everybody else, all the other speakers, we have them get sponsored by whatever company they want to be sponsored by so that we're not paying out the ass. We cover their hotel, and that's essentially it. Everything else, they're sponsored by whatever company it is that they want to be sponsored by, but we have people show up, and we have these kind of speakers every single year. Last year was the first year that we did 2 course tracks and an ABO review, so we had 3 total. But this year we're adding a half day on Sunday, so we'll have the 2 regular course tracks, the ABO review on Saturday, as well as professional roundtable, which Heather is going to be there and doing with me, and hopefully Mike as well. And then on Sunday we have 3 course tracks and offer both ABO and NCLE credits. So it is, how do we do this? How do we pay for it? We utilize our resources in the smartest way that you can.
And sponsors take care of them.
Sponsors take insane care of us. We just had Ovo Optics do our gold level sponsorship for $2,000. We have Hoya that did our diamond level for $4,000. We have opportunities there, and we tap in. And fortunately, because of the relationships that we have with our industry, or with people in our industry and the different companies, we are very much we have favor, and that is a huge thing.
And they want to help.
They do want to help states,
and they will.
And they have the money. They have the money. It's a matter of you're tapping into.
And
You know, I tried to put a sponsorship committee together when I was the South Carolina president, but that just didn't go anywhere.
You know
I was
what?
too busy putting the website together, and
Yeah.
you know, the rest of the folks involved, like, you know, they always showed up for the meetings, but
Yeah.
you know, when you get to the next meeting and nothing had happened since the previous one.
Can I appreciate?
Hold on, Heather. I empathize with that because I like a lot of it falls on my shoulders. Me and my treasurer, Sherry, does a ton. I do now have a board that's stepping up in ways that they didn't before. Within the last year, of really just saying, hey, I'm like we're doing everything, but we have committees. We have that we're building and people in place that actually are trying and are caring. I am the committee leader for the sponsorship aspect of things, and then as the president, obviously on the financial committee and all of that. But we have resources and connections that, like, our board is made up. 3 of us are out in the field and all of us have been in this industry for so long. It's really easy for us to tap into because, and this is something that I hugely harp on and even said in that recent OWA thing, that being intentional about the relationships in this industry is incredibly important because that you will have opportunity. You never know who's going to work for you. You never know who you're going to work for. And additionally, you never know who you are going to need to tap into and is going to have your back, either as a reference or a sponsorship resource.
How many of us have asked one another for help in something professional? Let's say in the last 2 months. I know I've asked at least 1 or 2 of y'all for help in the last month or 2. Yes, that's like I need answer this question.
And we're here for it. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about this group, and I love that so much. That is an enormous thing to my heart, is that everyone is here for it. And, like I tell people, I was talking to Brian earlier, I was like, I know the neurooptometry is something that you're like super interested in. You can call me anytime. He's like, I know. And I'm like, good. I want you to know that. Like, I very much am here for anybody that needs anything, and I know that every single one of us are. Like, we tap into each other and we have opportunity to continue to grow, bring each other up, and like we don't know what we don't know. But the best part of this industry, my favorite thing about optical, is that you never stop learning. There is growth in technology. There is growth in just learning what the industry has to offer and the different opportunities and career paths that there are. And there's so many different people from so many different parts of this industry. And we collectively, like, selflessly are 110% here for it and for each other.
Absolutely.
That's
sorry, I'm just agreeing. Like, I'm just listening.
No, totally. It's a huge thing, and I'm passionate as fuck about the I'm passionate about opticianry and bringing it up. I am passionate about neurooptometry, and developing that, and that's something that I'm gonna work on with Harry as far as like a CE series, but also with the last doctor that I worked with that is a genius in this industry, especially around symptonics. I have a meeting with him next Wednesday when I get back.
And we're just still talking about getting sponsors for your, for the thing.
For as far as the OAO goes, that aspect of the sponsorship, it's all about the relationships that you both have and maintain.
I think, Lewis, it took us 2 emails for Hoya to do multiple classes.
And they really do want to tap into the big names, 100% tap into the
and they're
names.
neutral enough, like you don't have to worry about them being like, so this is the only lens for 100% of the population. They're gonna sit there and actually teach you some real shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoya's sponsorship is great. When they sponsor us, they sponsor our first night. It's the third year in a row they've done this. And Michael Gaddy, he does 2 CE courses that first Friday night, and every year they're different. He's a great speaker. He's super kind. And they sponsor the entire happy hour, which covers drinks for everybody that night. Oh, yay! Oh,
Yeah, I know, but I also don't want to like announce it. Sorry,
but it is as far as that sponsorship piece. It's like tapping into every single person on our board and finding the connections and reaching out, and the reps reach out. You know, they have opportunity. We also, I will say, as far as that part goes, there's a bad taste from like previous OAO conferences leadership, and not the leadership, but how poorly they were like put together, how little exposure sponsors had, like rep tables. We had last year. So actually, I'll start with the year before. The year before was the first year that we were coming in as the board, and the current board, we love them. We still work with them. They still help us. They're still a part of the OAO board and committees. But we came in and we're like, this was the first convention they had since COVID, and that was in 23, and they were going to skip it again. And like, on what basis? Why? Because COVID, again, this is ridiculous. You need to bring this back. So they threw it together, and we met with them 6 weeks prior to us having the actual event. And we're like, okay, what do we need? How many attendees do we need to break even? And how many vendors do we currently have? They said we have 4 vendors, and three out of or I think it was actually all 4. They had paid. They said for the 2020 years, and because of that, this was their rain check, right? So we had 4 vendors. We needed 60 attendees in order to break even. And we had 6 weeks. We had 23 signed up, 23 attendees. Again, several of them had are paid in 2020 for 2020's conference. That didn't happen. The 5 of us, 4 at the time, 4 of us were out in the field. We're like, okay, perfect. Let's get this done. We created the flyers. We reached out to all of our vendors. We ended up that year in 6 weeks. We had 21 vendors paying $450 plus for tables and then additional tables. And we had 120 attendees. We did that in 6 weeks. And that was because we are passionate. There was a lack of awareness, a lack of marketing. The previous board they were all in office people, and so the opportunity. But having people on the board that are actually out in the field and talking to people gives so much. We utilize our resources. I work with Pacific Artisan Labs. My second VP at the time, she was with Zeiss. We gave them flyers. They sent them out in all the orders.
Yeah.
And Washington.
Exactly what you're talking about right there was one of the reasons I didn't feel like I was necessarily the right person to be leading the South Carolina organization, because I'm kind of isolated. Like I work for the federal government, at least until Trump decides to fire me too. I mean, but I'm not out there working with all the vendors. You know what I mean? And I was like, I always thought, I was like, we should really have somebody here that understands all of that side of the market, like our vice president did. Jody and Ronnie, they understood that part of it really well, but I always felt like uncomfortable and like the imposter syndrome situation, like you're talking about there.
And it's about having like a committee, like you mentioned, Wes, having like we're actually trying to work really, really closely with our reps now, where we're actually like offering incentives for their booth price if, they're sending people our way. That's something that we are also going to really, really go ham next year with. But too, it's not up to one person. It's definitely like an army of people that like really actually just, getting a few reps that literally work your whole entire state is like one of the best exposures you can get from your state. Like even I'm in Nebraska right now, and I'm like,
I don't have any position on the board anymore. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like I'm just was curious because of while she was talking about it. Apparently, my successors chose not to continue the sponsorship committee. They just, they get local sponsors that show up, but they don't. They're only paying like $500 for a table.
Too on that.
But they don't. I don't know. They don't seem like they see the value of, getting $4,000 sponsors or whatever.
You have to create the value, and this is what it was. So I actually had a couple of vendors that first year that were like, hell no. I'm like, we've done it before. It was crap. It wasn't worth our time. But I was like, okay, you can be like that. These are friends of mine. Like reps I've known for years that I consider friends, and they do too, which is why they can speak very directly to me. Like, fine. The next year they ended up at the convention, and why? Because I made it a point when we took over, we weren't even sworn in yet, but when we ended up doing this conference and building the shit out of it in 6 weeks, I made it a point. I said, this is how when I came in, I was like, the reps are going to be set up around the entire area. On the outside, they are going to have the opportunity to have their booths up like all day, every day, during every meal, and that way they're if they want to, right? They have an opportunity for exposure. So this year, Friday night, our happy hour, reps get to have 2 hours to also be there, mingling with people, what have you. And then Saturday, instead of having a 2-hour block and having it coincide with lunch, we're having a 3-hour block that starts before lunch and goes after lunch, so that there is opportunity for exposure there, because your sponsors, your vendors are the reason that this association is the only, that's how you bring money in. It's not from membership. It's not from the convention fees. And this year we offered convention and membership very low, specifically because we know that we can, because our sponsors pull through. We also gave, if there were any of the vendors that they're allowed 2 reps at all of their stations, if they have only 1 rep coming, they have the opportunity to gift an optician the free registration to be able to come, and here you go, you can bring somebody at no charge, and that builds up for them. We have that feeds into their stuff, but we also are creating other events outside of just our annual state. It shouldn't just be the annual state. And this is one of the things that I am working on. And I was trying to do it around end of March. It's not going to happen. Probably going to be more towards the end of summer. But I'm going to do a buyer's event where I'm bringing in our vendors that invest they invest and they get exposure. They're not necessarily writing orders. We want them to have an opportunity to gain back, and exposure they definitely do. I had 2 tables while I'm running this last year. So I had the lab, I had the frame company, and I'm running the convention, and also had to step away to go to the prison graduation and come back. It is.
Jesus.
But I also ended up gaining I have gained multiple accounts for the lab since then, and one from the frame company as well. That exposure is there, but we want our reps to also feel like they are benefiting. So one of the things that I'm trying to plan right now is the vendor or the buyers event, where we have it out there that buyers are able to come in actually with intent to buy, make it streamlined so that there's one application form. If they need to send something else with each company, they can, but we're going to put it all together so that it is easy, streamlined. The vendors can just hold the application, know that they have the information. It's all in one place, and then people come with the intent to write orders. And I'm focusing mostly on independent, but these are the things that, and if we're going to make the booth costs for the buyer's event higher, but if they pay it, we're getting either a free booth or a reduced cost booth at our annual convention. So it's all about putting together what you can for to make it so that it's a quid pro quo type thing. They're getting something out of it, as are we, right? that's it. There's you have to use strategy. You have to use your resources. You have to use your personal relationships. Though
Well, and, what's funny is, the South Carolina Association never was really making they pay their bills based on their dues, because they've got like 550, 600 people as members. Because like the way the laws are written and everything, almost everybody becomes a member of the association and gets their CEs through them, because it's got to be in person, and we make it kind of convenient. And so they've just never seen the need for sponsorship, because they've practically got a captive audience, And I was always like, there's so much money on the table, though. Like, we could have this in a nicer place instead of keep coming back to this dump that just got closed unexpectedly to be renovated. I was like, we could have better, better hotel. We could have, all the good speakers, not just like, the ones that we can always reliably get. And nobody just, it was like, that was just too much work or something. And so, that idea left when I did, and it's going to cost that association tens of thousands of dollars, in my opinion, but oh well.
It's about exposing your vendors, because they're not going to want to come.
Vendors don't get exposure. They told me this about South Carolina, that they don't get exposure. Not a lunch. There's not any events.
Also,
there's not a lunch because there's not money for it, because they won't get good vendors. The vendors don't chip. They're only paying like $300, $500 for a table, whether they're a day or 2 days. So you're making $5 or $6 grand off your vendors, and your hotel's costing you that much. Your speaker, depending on who you get, might be sponsored or might be free, but.
Wes, we have less than 100 members, and we are up $21,000.
Because you have and you have.
You guys you're forward thinking, is what you're doing.
Yeah, and our event cost us about not even including speakers. Our event, I think, last year was $14,000-$15,000.
But you've got. You know what? I also have a shark of a treasurer that's also our convention committee chair, and she knows how to negotiate like crazy. She actually does every 5 years. She does her high school reunion. She plans them. So there's strategy in that too. Who you have as the person making these deals is huge. And last year we had it in the summer or around the same time. I think it was the same weekend. But we had it at a hotel that we had used years ago, and they were excited to have us back. Well, they fucked up on some meals. It was a headache with some rooms, and I loved Sherry so much. I give so much kudos to her. It was a $13,000 bill. We ended up paying $9,000 for because they took it so much off.
Love that.
Nice.
Can I?
All right, so I think round table that Donna Hatch had with Liz McNamara, who is an event planner.
No, I couldn't make that one. I think
all right. This is someone that is good for associations to have connection with. She's an event planner. I met her at an NAO event that she was planning. And what she does is she has connections with all these hotels. She does not charge the associations or the businesses to set things up, your events, to negotiate great prices at great hotels and oversee all of that. She gets paid by the hotel or the venue that you use.
Because she has the connections.
Because she has all the connections. And like when South Carolina last month in January, they lost their venue, they had to go find another one, whereas that would be something Lynn McNamara would do. And that's something that every association should really have an event planner, because they have the time, they have the connections, they're going to negotiate, they have years of experience in negotiating, and the hotels will negotiate more with someone like that or a company like that, because they're going to get more business, especially if it's a chain that they're going to bring in, besides just one little association.
Which is
Change gonna
awesome.
get
There's,
more.
and that's the thing is utilizing resources.
Yes, utilizing
Utilizing resources and being insanely intentional about
Yes.
making sure that you are taking care of your vendors the way that they are taking care of you because you know that's where your money's going.
Yeah. So it
If
doesn't,
we need 5-6 grand from our vendors, I would lose my shit.
it doesn't cost the association anything to use someone like Lynn McNamara's company, for example. She handled the CLSA for years, and that's how she became involved in handling the NAO. And Donna Hatch had a round table. I told Donna about Lynn and connected them, and she had the round table for the state associations to explain how it all works.
I mean, yeah, I wish I.
So,
she records those. I think.
Yes, it's recorded.
Yeah.
So if you use an event planner, they're going to be able to negotiate much better for you, and they will present to you your options for you, the associations to choose from. And then you just have to be able to have a commitment to your sponsors that makes it attractive for them to sponsor you. They want to sponsor you. They want to gain business from your events. So you have to be able to have a commitment to that sponsor that we're going to have these meetings on this day in this year at this place. Of course, things can fall by the wayside and like South Carolina lost their venue. But for the most part, if you have a commitment to a vendor that they're going to have meetings on this day, this place, and all that.
And if you do it right, they're going to come
exposure,
back.
and you give exactly, and
We
you
have
give the
vendors
exposure
asking
to
us,
the
when
vendors.
is your next one?
They
You have
want,
a time.
yes, they want to come back.
So
And
many. all of them.
unfortunately, South Carolina, I don't know how it is now, but last year at this time, South Carolina didn't have commitments to offer vendors of what they would get for their investment as a sponsor.
Yeah, and we have. I can send you to
Right.
whoever. I can send you
Yes.
our sponsorship like price list basically where what you get with each level. We have diamond, platinum, gold, and silver.
Right.
And with all of those, just the tables. I'm happy.
You're
to send
welcome to send it to me, and I'll put it in my files. But I'm telling you, these folks aren't interested in doing that kind of work.
But
Yeah, wait, can I
Okay.
answer about like the whole sponsorship thing here? Because absolutely, the vendors are extremely important, and they are the ones that allow these events to happen. And we definitely need to show value and stuff. But you know, my regional at Studio Optics actually really, and maybe she's just humble, right? Jill Johnston and with Studio Optics. She also reminds me too, right? She reminded me literally the other day when I was like, you know, talking about our event. She said that the reason why she comes to our events because she wants to support the opticians. That no matter what, of course, Jill does not care to get business. She does not. She'll get appointments. She's like, yeah, appointments are great. But the most important part of her being there is because she is exposing herself and her brand and networking and creating relationships. And in the end, those are the brands that are supporting the optician profession, right? So also too, like we really need to hold strong value that, you know, those vendors are actually there because they're supporting all the opticians and the education happening. That like, of course we want to give them value, but you know, there are some vendors that are humble about the situation that actually do understand that this event, you know, is very much supported by them and that they really respect it because they want to see, they want the opticians to know that their brand is supporting the profession. And that's important to know.
Is that, and this is what I want to say, it's not all on you. Your hands may be tied on some stuff with the connections of vendors and sponsors, but there are people be intentional about the people that you bring into the board.
I'm not involved with that anymore. I'm, you know what I mean? I was just asking to be curious. I understand. I'm just saying it's like that's not even my role anymore. And the folks whose role it is aren't interested in doing that. Like that's work.
I've met anyone from the South Carolina Association besides like, you know, previously Jane and Wes. But I don't know if Mike's available. I don't know if he just left, but
no, he's seeing somebody, he's seeing out his friend Heather.
I wanted to touch
it may not be Wes's
also
role,
can't.
but here's the thing. Wes cares. And that's the problem.
Totally.
some people on state association
We never had
boards
Brian speak.
don't. Oh yeah, right. Some people on state association boards either don't care or just
Also,
don't get it, or they're stuck
Heather
in.
wanted to say something.
Well, this is the way we've always done it, and they don't want to try anything
I didn't
new.
even get to hear from her. She'd been a part.
So yeah, I get it. Wes's hands are tied, but the reps will tell associations regarding South Carolina. We
Yeah.
don't feel that the little bit of exposure that we get is worth our while to pay to send somebody out there, or for a rep to spend their own time on their own dime to be out there.
And also,
you have
talking
to
about
be able,
states.
yeah, you have to be able
So,
to.
but in a positive way, let's really quickly. Sorry, James.
And what is the verb?
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me pause.
Scott Shapiro at Expo West had a very, very good talk, and it is on Instagram, where he did say that people in a state should be asking their reps, do you support the state association? Because some reps don't give it a thought.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt
So,
you.
okay,
we're
that's what I
going
have to
to wrap that really quick.
I do want to go back.
You do want to go back.
Sorry.
Also,
I'm gonna wear
Brian,
this. Just go back.
no, listen here,
Come on, Brian.
Mr. Humble, come up here.
Your turn.
Just tell us what Brian has not got a chance to speak,
Tell
and
us
we have a
about
very
how I
wonderfully
changed your life, Brian.
important person here to all of us. I'm so honored
No,
to finally be
middle seat, buddy. Middle seat, buddy. Between
And then Heather,
No,
you
no,
can talk
it's not
tonight,
one,
but we're gonna
Brian.
bring it back to OME.
You play the background too much. You're
Come
foreground.
on, Cuddle. Get all comfy, come. So, like, quiet time. We want to hear from Brian what OME has done for you and brought to you.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. When like just as we were starting this, we were working in the same practice for hey, prior to that, I was in the music industry. I'd been teaching guitar lessons to ages 5 to 75 for about 15 years, and moved to Austin. Play some music, that sort of thing. But after having met Mike, who said, you seem like someone who likes solving problems, and I've got a lot of problems that need solving. Why don't you maybe come try working for me? And luckily at the time, those who needed to hire someone, basically the qualifications were breathing, and I did that pretty well at the time. And I got hired on at an optical place who, I started as a tech. I said, well, this is really pretty neat, and started questioning why we were doing one thing after another, and no one could tell me. I said, that's unacceptable. And they said, well, if you kind of want to figure that out, you should probably read this book. And it was Systems of Ophthalmic Dispensing. Well, you're going to have to give me a little bit more time. That's a pretty heavy book, but okay. And that part was fascinating. Eventually, we started going through things, and after dealing with practice to practice movement, as one does, we said, now that I'm practicing as a optician, because in Texas you can go from doing anything to being an optician the next day, and that scared the crap out of me, because like after having gotten to play the role of an optician, and that's especially where the imposter syndrome makes sense, because like I'm not an optician yet. I'm not even an apprentice yet by I would say anybody's standard. I think that can be kind of deceptive in places who call people like optical specialists. I mean, that might be more accurate than optician, but anyway. We pushed for getting the certification in the first 6 months of becoming an optician. And after having taken the test, even though we were trying to find study material after study material, if it's only, this test wasn't necessarily that hard, but I feel like the standard should be at least this. So anyway, uh, in thinking about the different ways one can study for this kind of certification, we thought, well, I wonder if other people I wonder if other people realize how maybe not necessarily simple it is to obtain the certification, but how available it is to someone with a reasonable amount of tenacity to do it for themselves and to study for it. And so, well, I'm not exactly sure yet what it takes to study for the advanced, but we can at least see who wants to take it further. And it's as far as what OME has done for me, it's taken someone who's brand new to the industry and said, you don't just have to dispense in a private practice. There's also the opportunity for repping, education, frame development. There's the style aspect of things. There's the management side. There's and that is something in particular.
There's specialties within it.
Yes. Neuro, I that hadn't. I'm so new that there's so much that's very interesting to me right now because as someone who once the novelty wears off, I get very bored.
So
Yeah, we do, and we all do.
Yeah.
We all have that ADHD.
Yeah.
Every optician I know has ADHD.
Yeah. We're like, okay, I
there's
learned how
not-
to adjust. I'm done.
But that's the thing is that there's no stopping point in this industry at all. There's so many directions. And I loved our conversation about that and how excited you got about it.
Well, it's something that. Listen, we have to deal with burnout and being overstimulated, overworked. In the healthcare industry in particular, it's very often I think for the generative act of caring to be exploited, and that makes it challenging when. I think deep down for quite a few folks, we really just want to serve each other. It feels better at the end of the day when we can serve. However, if we feel like we're being exploited, it sort of takes the fun out of it. So trying to incorporate, hey, I want to be a resource for people. And CJ said it earlier. I don't want to be ineffective when a patient is in need. If they have a question, I want to be able to answer it or at least have access to people who do. And that was the main reason for the Discord, to be able to have a network of people who are just as eager to learn as they are to share what they have learned already. So as someone who's been in it for less than 5 years, more than 2, I think we're nearing 3, but good God, does it blur?
So you've
at some
been in.
point.
So I left a year ago for private. I got you at the signature just over a year before that, and you worked for a year and a half at Innovative. So you've been in about 3.5 years.
That was teching, yeah.
And yeah. But I mean, honestly, like I was working with you on opticianing while you were teching, so yeah.
But it goes, I will say, speaking to your passion for this industry in such a short amount of time, and not only your want and drive to learn, but your willingness to contribute and teach, because that solidifies your learning in a huge way. That is something I firmly believe in. But Mike and I were talking last night about how it is. I can spot up to. I can see within 30 seconds. I don't even have to interact with them personally. I can watch the interactions, and I can know if somebody would make a good optician within 30 seconds. It is about bringing in personality and training skill. And if the personality is right and there's a thirst and a hunger, the skill is easy to train. Not that it's easy to learn all the time, but as a trainer, it is something that is so easy to implement and to feed and like nurture somebody else in that way, because there's a want and desire. And going back to that whole personality, that's huge to be able to recognize that in somebody else, like mine did this, and then bring that person up because you see something in them. That's what that happened to me 18 and a half years ago. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
We have both changed
it's amazing.
Each other's lives. If I hadn't have met you, you would not have made me step up. And you are now in the optical industry, and us both balancing that scale back and forth only just keeps taking us up a building. Like where that ends remains to be seen. But right now we're sitting in an apartment. And I call this the first inaugural Cheers OME. It's gone on for more than a year, but this is the first of many.
The only thing to make it better
Hey, Mike.
here, if these people here would be here
I agree.
too.
I agree. Well, I still be
It'll
here.
So, hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's up?
So check this out. You said you wouldn't be doing this if you hadn't met Heather.
Well,
Fowler.
Did I hear that right?
That was my mentor.
So check this out. You wouldn't have met Heather if I hadn't given the other Heather the assignment for leadership.
Okay, and so that's what's wild.
Wes is the one that set that up.
Yeah, I got a text that I'm like, I don't fucking know you. Yes, I'm happy to speak to her.
And I was, Heather called me out on this. It was so spur of the moment and last minute, and same with James. All of this ended up on this board on a last minute thing, and I was like, okay.
You were a last minute filler.
First leadership that you and I both had been to.
But I filled in, and by the time the panel got to me, all I could say was what they said. I agree with. I had nothing else to say.
And it went, you know what?
It's funny way to
What did we hear so many times? We just talked about this again last night. That our panel was, we heard from several people that they learned the most from our panel than they did from
most helpful.
It was the most helpful. It was the most information than any other of the classes, and we hodgepodge it together because why? We see the passion and the knowledge in each other, and we can bring that shit to the table on a whim. And that's a beautiful thing.
Was the one that got you guys all together. He just asked me to fill in.
I thought it was the
Wes got
No, Wes is the one that reached out to me, and he was like, "You want to be part of the Optical Guild, breakouts?" And kind of just said, "Hey, it's going to be about this." And then we kind of started an email chain right away and introduced me to Mike. And of course, I thought of you immediately, Heather. And I was like, "Well, yeah, we could definitely do this." And yeah, it ended up being really well. And I don't know if I've actually, thanked you enough for that, Wes, because obviously it's gotten. Even me meeting, that's when I met Mike, and just to put me on that platform, even in front of a lot of those people, and to even be on that side, even though I just went to leadership for the first time, I really, really appreciated that, Wes. I want to appreciate that again.
Well, I knew you had great things in you.
We wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for that boost. I'll be honest.
Yeah, so you're right, Wes. Wait,
would have run out.
Good job, Tim. No, but
He wants a pat.
But you know what? You're 100% right. It's somebody seeing it in somebody else, and then that chain reaction and that chain, events that happens after that. We all intentionally, and it is, I hope it never stops, in every single one of us just want to bring each other up and give each other resources and be there and do and do and do. And now we have do you want to talk? Oh, wait,
let's talk about it.
No, Harry, really quick, Harry, I have a question for you. Fuck you. Harry. Excuse me, Harry, are you asleep? Are you snoring?
He's not snoring, so he's not asleep.
What is my This. Oh, there you are, Peter. There you are.
Sorry, we're so used to hearing.
Really quick, I know. I love. That's my favorite thing is when Harry starts snoring because he was passed out because he was so dedicated to the call. I'm hanging out. So Harry,
Once is all it takes, man.
let me ask. Hold on, Harry. Like I don't want to speak to it because it was a conversation you had, but do you mind saying what was said about from John? Not the first piece, but the second one that had to do with the others. No, no.
Yeah.
But you also know how I am in my fucking emails because I vet them through you and read them to you before I
You're
even
still
send them.
professional. You're good.
But that's the best part. You're scared, you're intimidated. And it's not just me, it's Harrington too. It's both of them. And it's not just me, Harry. Remember that, like, and I very much am not trying to fucking blow myself up on some shit because it was also Heather Harrington that was mentioned. Like, if you want to, yeah, people are pissed off. And this is, by the way, this intimidation of not wanting to talk to the Heathers, because they know damn well we're going to keep it real, was from uh, the highest position on the board of the UOA, because I will directly email, and I know damn well Heather has no problem speaking her mind. Neither does Lewis, and I was actually surprised that there wasn't more mentioned. But the fact that it was, if those are the people that are intimidated, that are vocalizing the fact that they're not happy in their state leaders, that's who you should actually have a conversation with. Still waiting, I can tell you that. Yeah. Right. You don't know the system that if everybody just gets in line with what however it is and there's no challenge, it's a bunch of weak ass people. It's like blind leading the blind, pun intended, by the way, because if you don't accept challenge, yeah,
And it's because
yeah. Well, I know you're like, bitch. You're like, how dare you ignore my calls? Call me right now. I have to tell you something. And it is, and I appreciate that, but it's what makes me happy is that, like, because the squeaky wheel gets the cheese, right? Like, like Lewis, you very much are the same in this, and I know that they feel challenged by you and intimidated by you. Heather Harrington, and that's like both of you and I got brought up. If these are the people that are vocalizing, your like the disgruntled aspect of things, those are the people you need to talk to, because these are the future leaders, and that's who's going to end up putting you in a position to gain things like leadership attendance.
And this honestly like leads to kind of, well, even like even a lot of things. So it's because like this group is next level, right? Like I feel like we're ready to take the industry like next level. Like Harry, I love what you had said about just like your story of kind of like reactivating, and it's because this is next level, and it takes leaders to challenge other leaders, which I feel like a lot of us do. Like, we've mentioned like all of us reach out for help, but we also, there are a lot of powerful people in this group. And, Mike mentioned, like we're building a skyscraper. No, this is like a city. This is a huge movement that is happening, and it will continue to grow because there's so much passion, so much drive to really take it to the next level. And Wes, I really appreciate you being humble, saying that you had imposter syndrome. I have experienced imposter syndrome for actually quite some time. Mike and I actually had a discussion last year at leadership about this. And, it's very, very, very common for people to feel imposter syndrome. And
it never goes away. So just go on and move forward with your life.
Well, and that's why I say, like, what I really, really noticed since I am getting a little bit better on just a better path is that, like, anyone experiencing imposter syndrome, like you mentioned, right? Like a lot of people feel that, but it feels really good. Someone at like, your level, Wes, and just, people that I would think that is the reason why I'm feeling imposter syndrome feels that as well. And I think that I just want to remind everyone that like, it's very important for that to not hinder your progress, and that you could validate and acknowledge your feelings of feeling that. But it's just because we work in an ever evolving industry. I mean, we probably work in honestly the fastest moving industry with economy, technology of all kinds, right? Optic technology in general, online presence. Like we're definitely, it's important to not let it hinder, because I will say, I have allowed it to hinder some of my progress in my own professional career and, people and things that I have worked with. And that has led to regret, and it amplifies my fear. And now that I address that, I'm glad that I want to remind that just do not allow it to hinder your progress, because I really regret doing that. Right. I see that it has hindered my progress, and I want to stop anyone from feeling that, so even feeling imposter syndrome, it is okay, but take a stop and don't allow yourself to get too lost in it, because we got to stay curious, stay humble, and all wanting to learn.
Humility,
and I appreciate you for saying that, Wes.
Syndrome
So,
completely.
when,
I will say really
when you were a child,
that when you that aspect of it doesn't ever go away, and it's important for us to speak on it, because that's the only way that you're going to know that the people that you look up to. I remember Sarah calling me, and she called me after an event that we had in Portland, and she was just she's like, "Hey, I'm just checking in, seeing how you're doing." And I was like, "Sarah, I wear so many hats and I love everything I do, but that when you have so much to do, and you have all this coming at you with of course, again, all of us ADHD brains." I was like, how you just know you have so much to do, it's all looming over you and it's haunting you, but all you can do is sit there and stare at a wall for 5 hours. And Sarah's response was, "You just described my whole last week." That was the impactful thing. And you was saying that with the imposter syndrome. Do you we carry ourselves with confidence, right? But at the same time, inside we're like, how why? How is what I'm saying. What if I'm wrong?
It's like this. I mean, think about when you were a kid, right? And you think, oh, the adults, they have all the answers. And then one day you're an adult and you're like, shit, we don't have the answers. I feel like I'm an imposter. I'm not really an adult, right? It's because you don't have the answers, but you thought that the adult would have the answers, right? So you think I have the answers, and I'm like, I know I don't have all the answers. And you know, I look at Warren McDonald, maybe, or Harry, and I'm like, they have all the answers, and they're like, brother, don't look at me, I don't have them either.
And also being able to say, I don't have keeping that humility of like, I don't know, I don't have the answers, but let's figure it out together or teach me. You know what I mean? Like that's such a
That's the awesomeness when you reach the point to be able to actually say that.
and that should be always like the mentality because this is a forever learning industry. We don't know what we don't know. We do know what we do know. Every one of us has like expertise in different areas that is like strength in different areas that we can bring to the table, but there's also other areas that like I feel stupid all the time. I hate math. There's a reason that I've gone through like dropped out of 2 ABOAC things because I had so much else going on, but I just did not have. I am terrified of the math piece, and it's because it's not something that makes sense to me. I have worked based off of intuition and experience for 18 and a half years in a sector of this particular, a sector of optical and optometry that is only 5% of eye doctors go into. So way less than 1% of opticians have any experience with, have any knowledge of, blah, blah, blah. And that hurts my heart. They should have knowledge of this. And it is something that I know that I have, like, it is my specialty. I know that I'm an expert in this area, but I also know what I don't know. And that's why the whole aspect of even taking the ABOC, I'm like, math, to me, I am a right side of the brain person. I am not a left side. The logical aspect and equations and all that shit is seriously, like, the first time I actually did Sarah's, she invited me of 10 or 12 women to come in, do this ABOAC class. The very first class I got off of on Zoom, I couldn't wait to turn that fucking camera off and shut my computer because I literally had tears welling up all the way to the top of my eyelids. And as soon as I closed that computer, I just sobbed because I was like, I am fucking stupid. I'm never going to get this. This is something that is not, like, I am not going to be able to achieve this. And now I know that that's not necessarily the case, but that's how scary and intimidating it is. On the other side of the same coin, I can speak to neurooptometry and neuroopticianry all day long, but I don't have to do it mathematically, right? Like, there is such a beautiful piece, but I know that if I'm teaching on it and creating courses, I do need to tap into the technical part, and I have resources for that. The doctors that I've worked with and worked for that also speak on it, but I really we don't know what we don't know, and not all of us have the same strength in every area, but we all bring something to the table. But it is like being able to admit, like, I'm not the one, but that's where the imposter syndrome creeps in so hard because, like, who the fuck am I to be talking about stuff when if somebody asks me a mathematical question about it, sure, Spartans rule all day long. Anything else, like, I fear being in a position that I'm speaking about something that I don't necessarily have all the answers. But it's okay. I know it's okay to not have all the answers because it's an opportunity for learning. But I also don't want to feel like I'm presenting myself as something that I'm not. And that's a really difficult place to be mentally. So I do appreciate, Wes, the like fact that, and I know imposter syndrome will never go away. Like, my self-doubt has been a hindrance. And Heather, also, I want to say, don't regret anything. I don't believe in regret. That is a waste of personal energy. What you look at it as is a learning experience of, like, okay, where can I grow from here? Don't hold regret over it, because that is only going to be a detriment, again, to your self-psyche and your self-doubt. But all that to say, thank you. I appreciate hearing from you. I appreciate hearing from Sarah that you guys go through the same exact things that we do when we look up to you guys as master opticians and as people that have been in this field for years and years. And, like, it's being able to say out loud, and like I don't I will say it all day long, I don't give a fuck. It is a scary fucking thing to deal with the imposter syndrome and also just the self-doubt in those areas, because we don't all think the same, but we all bring something huge to the table.
Yeah, and I think that that's actually why like we all shouldn't be fucking feeling imposter syndrome, because we have this network now, right? Like that's like what I feel like, you know, Optical Made Easy is like really exposed, is that it's like I actually have been saying this to a lot of people, right? When I like, you know, go out to like some of my accounts and stuff, and you know I'm in Nebraska and actually trying to help let everyone know that there's a new opticians association formed here, that like I'm like, hey, you know what, like at least use me as a resource, because if you have a question and I don't know the answer, I definitely know someone that does. And you know, and we all empower each other all the time, right? That I'm saying, like, that's actually kind of the cool part about it, is like, why am I feeling imposter syndrome just because I don't know it? Because I definitely know a badass bitch that does know, or an ABOM that does know. And that's I really appreciate, you know, knowing all the people that have been involved for all of those resources and stuff, because it's also just really great and humble to have, because it's not something that I had years ago, you know. And even just kind of being gassed up by some of you guys has really helped me on just like random days. Like honestly, Heather, when you called me the other day about, you know, what Harry had mentioned, you know, I had a little tough day, and I like, you know, you literally were there to like just empower me with just saying that, and that's what we're here for too, right?
For each other, like we always skew into that for each other, because you've done that. You called me on the day that it was the same, and remember, I was like, I feel like you know, I was at such a low point, and I was like, I can't tell you how much I needed this so freaking much, and it like for somehow we just cue into each other on that, but like
yes. And then I had to send you a little gift to just like make sure your week was good, you know.
And what did you say to me? You said you're like, we're persons of interest in this industry now, and that having a spotlight and knowing that people know who we are in this industry on a higher level than ever before, like I don't give a fuck if people know who the fuck I am. That means nothing to me, honestly. Like I'm not here for clout, fame, whatever the fuck. I want people to learn. I want to teach. I want people to learn and know what, like, especially around neurooptometry, being able to bring that to the table. But also, and Mike and I have talked about this too, that is a huge piece of the imposter syndrome, is that we are persons of interest. We are the future leaders. And that's something that is like, oh fuck. Like, you know, we didn't necessarily ask for that, but we're so passionate that it comes naturally. Sorry, Heather.
No. I'm listening to you. Sorry, I just didn't mute my mic. But no, I appreciate that. I actually didn't even. I knew that this is happening because I saw like Harry's post, and then I was like driving, and I was like, let me see if like we're in Discord. And I didn't realize. I just thought it was actually going to be just like live on the website. So thanks for like, you know, posting that, Harry, and everything like that, and actually getting that live happen on the website. Like I'm very excited about the future of what that can entail, because I actually really think, you know, I know Donna has talked about this a long time, but like it would be really cool at your event, especially Heather, especially since I'm not going to be working, besides at the professional roundtable, that you know, it'd be even cool to do some snippets of some classes. Like live CE should really exist. And I get why they don't. Not all CE courses, you know, you can do online, but you know, I'm actually hoping to see some like more live content for, you know, someone in New York that wants to support, you know, someone speaking there because they want to see the content. You know, I think live education, readily available, should be available a little bit more often than it is.
This group, OME has been, and so honestly, starting with Brian, like he was like, what, you know, you need to start working on C's. I said, I have a really hard time holding myself accountable. That's what I need. He was like, perfect. I'll be here for accountability for you. And that was huge. Like having that, knowing that you can be completely vulnerable and honest about whatever the fuck it is, and having the support from somebody else in this group is huge, you know, and like that is, and I'm like, great, I love that. Like, I can't tell you how much I need that. I'm like, this is what I need. My accountability to myself sucks. I need there to be a push. I need to be pushed. And that's what I told them. I was like, I need you to push me. And I have that with Harry. I have that with, you, Heather. I have that with Jane. I have that with Mike. Even Donna. Like after the couple of talks that I did on Neuro, she's like, you need to turn this into a CE. You're teaching an old dog in this industry new tricks. You have to do this. This is important. And being validated in that way is huge. And then being able, knowing that I have resources within this group to tap into, like that's what pushes me to bring to the table what I want to teach people about, right? Like, and actually start to follow through with it.
Well put.
And I do appreciate every single one of you. Like, you have no freaking idea. The only reason I'm at Seago, like I said, I could care less about the classes. There's stuff that are of interest to me. Andrew Bruce is a very dear friend. Not only did I want to support him, but I know I always learn from him. But it was really to be able to, in person, like collaborate, like see my friends that I in this industry that I'm talking to until 3 or 4 in the morning their time, 12-1 my time, and like being able to collaborate in person and just be in that, have each other and have that community and in person basis. And I feel really fortunate to be here. Like I really do, and I'm sad that there's not everybody here that I would love to see and that I would love to like be able to collaborate with. Heather, Harry, Wes, I think you're coming, right? Are you here?
Am I where?
Are you already at Seago?
I'm home. I'm home.
Are you coming to Seago?
I'm gonna come for some classes on Sunday, so I'm coming down Saturday sometime.
Okay.
I need to get a Georgia law class, unfortunately.
Yeah, I heard about that class, and I can get all my everything I need from all.
I don't know who's doing it, but it's usually kind of a dry class.
It's Diane Drake.
Of course it is. It's a freaking Georgia.
It's Diane.
What else do you
I'm
expect?
supposed to announce her.
What?
Yeah, it's Sunday. I think at like 12.
You can't get real creative with a law class without being accused of practicing law.
Right.
Basically. So yeah, the law class is just usually boring, and it's not really necessarily a reflection on the speaker. There's just not a whole lot you can do with it. You can't deviate from what you're telling them.
Right. And like, yes, being able to collaborate with all of you guys in person. Got to meet Brian in person for the first time.
He looks just like his picture.
I know. He's totally like Brian is exactly Brian.
He looks
In the
exactly like his
best
picture.
way. I'm so like I still have not been able to put my arms around Harry's neck, and I was really hoping to. Lewis, I met at leadership. Heather, Wes, Jane, Mike, Harry. We're gonna make this happen. I hope you come to my convention. I want my convention to be open to whoever wants to come as far as that goes at the OAO. Like, it is a really cool, well put together, well orchestrated, and the classes and speakers are phenomenal. It's like what you would get here.
It sounds like it. I've seen Andrew. He was giving some classes at the CLSA annual meeting a couple years ago, and he was just fabulous. I mean, he was so good. I went and tried to talk to him about maybe coming to South Carolina, but with the cross country stuff, and we don't really have much in the way of sponsors, and it was just going to get pricey. Do what?
To have 3.
Oh, you guys got it made.
20-mile radius. Fernell, Andrew,
you got 3 of the more popular speakers right there. That's great for you.
But they're passionate and they teach so well. You learn from them, right? And we make sure that the classes that we're doing are not the same as the year before, so that we have a shakeup. And I'll tell you, with the OAO, I went as an attendee in 2013, and I went again in 2016. And it was the exact same classes, exact same speakers, none of which we have currently, but it was redundant as hell. And I was like, why? There's a reason why people don't show up for this shit. And truly, like, honestly, they did ish, but we have so many more to tap into. But I was like, why am I literally learning? Like, I'm not hearing anything new. I want to hear things that are relevant. If I hear about blue light one more time, I'll fucking blow my brains out. I want to hear about, progression. I want to hear about things that is like current, relevant, and new. And that is exactly what they bring to the table. Like, their course catalogs are amazing, and they're also passionate. Bill Gerber, phenomenal. We have Arlen Aceto doing our, AVO review, and fucking Bob Alexander was supposed to be here doing he was supposed to be here as well for that event, but he had a schedule like conflict. So Arlen is doing his courses all on Sunday, but we still get to hear the course. Yeah.
So, question: you have 100 members. How many people show up to this event? Because this sounds like a 300-person event to me.
Well, we do what we can to get people there, but here's why.
You'll get a solid start.
Here's why we had 100 vendors or 100 plus members the last few years, right? One, we brought it in.
Larger members attending.
No, so this is what I'm going to answer.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this sounds like an event that could host like 300 people with all these different speakers.
Yeah,
like,
cool, but
you guys could really pull some crazy stuff off.
And the way sorry to interrupt, we'll finish this discussion, but we have to move this to a different forum in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, that's not being a forum.
We'll
We'll take it off the TV.
Yeah, we'll take it off the TV. Yeah.
But I'm going to answer your question. The way that it was put together before with the old board, and this is all that they did, this is all the OAO brought to the table, is that their conference fee every year included their membership every year. So when you paid $175 to go to the conference, that included membership. So it automatically made you a member only if you attend. That is not okay. We need more.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then also, in addition to that, we've always been a part of the OAA. So $40 for each of those members was going to the OAA. And then vendors were falling off, this, that, whatever. So we just reconstructed where this is all intentional as far as pricing goes. So we changed our membership year to be a calendar year because it matches or matched the OAA's January to December. And then so now it's $100 for membership. If you pay the $100 membership though, you will if you pay before March 31st, our convention is only $49 for members. If you pay after the 31st, it's $99, and then for non-members, it's $249. So there's incentive to pay for membership and for convention. Now you can
see you've had to compete for like members and stuff in the marketplace of free ideas, and it's made better.
Yeah,
like and that's just I think that's great.
Yeah. I would love to say one last thing. And I know, hey, for everybody that's stuck around for the now of 3 hour and 5 minute toast. I know nobody's actually stuck around for the whole thing, but there's at least a couple of us that are going to continue, and we'll all continue this discussion just off of a public forum. But I would love to thank everybody, first and foremost, for the fact that y'all support me. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but y'all have been amazing. Like, something that was a harebrained fucking idea. Something that was a harebrained idea not even 2 fucking years ago. And I bought this domain, and I remember looking at Brian, and I was like, optical made easy is available as a domain. Can you believe this? And he goes, buy it. So I bought it. And this is before the ABO advanced group. And then I got my ABO like level 2 speaker and I posted on Opticians on Facebook. And I think Carrie, Wes, and Sierra, and I think Carrie added me on Facebook. And of all 4 of y'all, this was born. Well, that and George Ford. I would be crazy not to include him because he tagged me in an Opticians on Facebook post where somebody was asking, hey, I want to take the ABO Advanced. Where are the study materials? And I spent, God, a week or 2 actually trying to find study materials. I bought every book available. Carrie's book wasn't out yet, so all that was there was the NAO book. And me personally, I found it convoluted. But that's just me. I know you're here. But this is my opinion. And I found it convoluted. And so I started this little study group. And I thought, all right, we'll have like 4 or 5 people join that. Yeah. And so
You have a waiting list.
not anymore. You know why? Because we're actually hitting them every I say every semester for us. So a semester for us runs every 6 months. But right at this point, we have actually filled every slot for this semester, and the next semester is almost filled. And it's all people that are so excited. This is our 3rd freaking class. And to think that this came out of me buying a random domain and deciding one day, I hate this fucking 2020 magazine CE I'm reading. I need something better. And then somebody said I could write something better. So anyway, sorry. So when I got into it, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's see what I can do. I want my ABO Advanced. I just discovered this was a real thing when I got my speaker thing. And started the group. Deer in headlights, no idea what I was doing. Sierra joined the first session to explain oblique meridians. I was so lost. By the time she was done, she had inspired all of us, but I had learned like nothing because I was so terrified. So more weeks kept going and we kept growing and organizing. And by the end of the first class, we had like 6 solid students, most of which that took the class and passed. And then I had a second class. That's where Chelsea came in. And what an amazing addition that was. She just fucking blew the pants off everybody. Her explanations to everything, her everything was phenomenal. And so to watch her blossom under this, to watch people like CJ go out and get their certification, and to know that, I mean, whether I played a part in it or not, like they joined the group, right? But I had nothing to do with them joining the group. All I did was sit there and help give people advice. Everybody else taught one another. And that's what I truly believe this whole thing is about. Is we're all about just lending that hand out to another. And I think that's something that opticianry fails at far too often. I have over 300 stores across 6 states plus one store. And let me tell you, there's a vast difference. There's a big gap in information. And if there was just a way we could reach these people, the corporate people that don't have to renew CEs because they don't have their ABO, that don't have to worry about licensing and getting their fucking CEs, which half of which just talk during the whole class anyway. People that really, truly reach and grab for that goal, that set a goal, obtain it, and surpass it. And I think I can apply that to every single person that is involved in OME, that has gone through the ABO Advanced course. All, like, just everybody that has joined us with this has gone over and beyond. And what I love about it is nobody's had to put up a dime. No, okay, well, dimes have been spent, but that's different. Nobody's had to spend a dime on anything to learn more. They just had to join the group, give us their willpower for about an hour and a half every week. And I'd probably say a few hours of study that week to prepare for their presentation.
And look what's happened because of it. Look at this group. Look what from the foundation of randomly buying a domain name to this. Just
Here we are. So what you're saying is thank you and goodbye because we love this entire group, right?
yes, that's what.
That's what he's saying.
Sorry, I can never
say
stop
goodbye and
complimenting
thank you.
everybody. I can never stop
But
thinking
you
about
have
it.
to
So
because it's the
tonight-
longest live stream in the world. And we love everyone. We're here for
Good night,
you.
everybody. Thank you so much. This is not over. We can continue talking.
Discord
and it's not gonna
in.
come off live
Yep,
stream.
Discord.
So we'll build Discord in a little bit. I'm gonna take that as a goodbye from everybody. So
Yes.
goodbye.
Or we'll hopefully see y'all.
Or stay on Discord. No, they're staying on
I was
Discord.
like, see you on Discord.
Give us a minute.
Stay on Discord.
All right, we're gonna have to get on our phones because I gotta turn this off.